Okay, we are live, Uncle John. As always, you do the intro because I don't like doing intros.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to talk about it. It's ARMTV. We are live. I'm here with my main man, Gary Roberts, as always, on a Tuesday night. And hot damn, what a couple of sweet weeks we've had in the arm wrestling world, huh? Some
Yeah,
good stuff going on.
I mean, it seems like it is the ball is starting to roll. Like, oh snap.
I'm just hoping, I'm like, keep going, please keep going.
What can I say? I went to Target today to buy something with my kid, and it was the very first time that I walk in. So I'm not I this is by no I don't want to get political here. Okay. I'm not meaning to get political.
Come on, we're doing this
But
already.
I notice on my Facebook there's a lot of people that are not wearing masks because they want to make a statement.
Is there a mandate in Illinois still?
So here's the thing. A lot of businesses are starting to say, "Hey, we're going to follow the recommendations that, like, uh as long as you are vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask.
But
But we recommend you do wear a mask."
but does the
So,
state mandate it or not?
well, see, that's the thing. So Target is a major place, and they took away the big sign. They used to have a big sign there, and they took it away. And so I'm like, wait a minute, do I not? I'm like, I don't want to be political, but I just want to walk into a place without a mask, and just I want to go back to normal life. Okay,
Yeah, me too.
so so I had this mask, and I take this mask off, and I'm walking through the doors, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm allowed to do this. It felt so like, holy shit, we're actually like, is this a sign that we're getting back to normal? And funny enough, then you flashed in my brain. I'm like, but wait, Uncle John is still locked down. How am I going into Target right now? And then I look, I see a family with a daughter. So there was a small sign that said, if you are vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask.
Hmm.
So I saw a teenager who had a mask, a mom who didn't. Then I saw for the first time a Target employee maskless,
Hmm.
and he was bringing carts in, and I was like, this is not a political statement, but by gosh, I just want to know what it's like to walk through a store like everything's normal. So I took it off and I started walking through the store, and I walked past people, and no one looked at me funny. No one said anything. And I was like, yes, I called my wife. I was like, is this real? Is the world? Are we getting back to normal? Like, I just want it. I don't want to be political. I just want to get back to normal. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
anyways, that to me is a great sign. That's the first time I've walked into a place and it was like, no one's, anyways, someone says Gary is woke. Listen, dude, I'm not woke. I don't know what that means, woke.
Woke means I don't know if you're woke. You just probably don't know enough about what woke is in order to avoid certain topics that automatically place you in that category.
I've just become really anti-government. I think they're all crooks. They're all to back the rich. I don't know what that means, if that's woke or not, but I don't trust
It
any
depends.
of them. I don't trust.
It depends on the bent, I guess.
I don't trust any of them bitches. I think the Democrats and the Republicans are all smoking cigars behind the scenes, going, "Damn, we got rich off this bitch." Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I'm
good.
sure. I'm sure.
Okay, so we had Michigan. We went live for the Michigan, and I missed some of the action. And then I called you, and you're like, "Dude, the greatest day of my life."
Pretty much of my arm wrestling career for sure. I mean, so Michigan State's we go live. Of course, we had Cobra Rhodes was at the tournament. And so I called you and I was like, hey, let's go live. Cobra might pull. Cobra might pull. And so we get on there, and of course, arm wrestling time being arm wrestling time, we were supposed to go live at 3. We did go live at 3, but then the actual open classes didn't start until what, 4 o'clock. So you had to leave like really right after the Cobra's first match, I think, right?
I know, it's just getting good, man.
Yeah. So, okay. So we'll take it in steps here. So Cobra Rhodes pulls in a tournament for the first time in at least the last tournament. I don't know when it was, but the last time he pulled, I think, was 2018. Right. So it's been a minute. And so I've been talking to Cobra about getting back into pulling for the last, 3 to 6 months now. And we've been kind of going back and forth a little bit. He decides to pull. I'm super pumped. First match, boom, top roll, flash pin, just like super classic Cobra. Would you say? I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. It was quick. It was fast. It was very, very good. So that was very, very positive. And honestly, I think we tapped into kind of a new style of live recording where we're following Cobra around, right? We're watching Cobra's matches, and then in between the matches, Cobra is giving us live updates as to how he's feeling, what was that match like, what was going on in his head, and it was really, really quite interesting. So then the second match happens, goes up against this guy named Hernandez. I wasn't familiar with him, but puts him in a hook, and Cobra goes into a hook with him, lasts maybe 5-ish seconds. Cobra gets pinned. And it was really interesting. I'm going to recut that and put it on Cobra's channel in the next couple days. But it's really interesting to kind of hear Cobra talk about it. And he was just like, I felt okay at first, but there just wasn't anything there for me to back it up.
Yeah.
Right. So he's kind of explaining to us all of his feelings, all of his, what's going on in his body. Then he goes and he wins another 2 or 3 matches in a row. And we get to see like Cobra in exploding hand technique, right? So he's splayed out. He's got the control of the hand, but he's pushing forward with everything, getting into those wonky positions.
Okay,
yeah.
I feel so embarrassed. In 12 seconds, what's the exploding hand technique?
Oh, it's not possible to explain in 12 seconds, but it is about control.
Can't dumb it down for me?
No.
No.
It's about control and punishment. Okay. You have to control your hand, control your opponent's hand. You've got to move forward while controlling. And when they try to run and escape, you must punish them. Okay.
Okay. And this is his philosophy.
Yeah. There's a lot to it, but when top rollers top roll, they usually go this way, right? If you're going to top roll, you do this. Cobra top rolls like this. And he goes forward and he pushes inwards. And it's something very different. But Devin Larratt was using the exact same kind of techniques in his match against Michael. So that type of style is incredibly relevant at the highest levels right now.
I saw some comments under the videos and they were like, oh, it's refreshing to see this style. Like,
yeah.
What? Well, I mean, when Cobra retired, the style, like, where did the style go before? Like you were saying,
it's just different. It looks so flamboyant when Cobra does it, right? It looks so dramatic. He adds that dramatic flair to everything.
Go on with the breakdown.
All right. So,
sorry, one more. I just want to say that what you brought up, this. I think it's the future. Having guys arm wrestle, then come over and giving you the thoughts. It's live. Like, I mean, we do it in edited productions.
Yeah.
It only makes sense to add that flavor in the live. I mean,
well, I think I even mentioned it to you. It was kind of like a Gary Roberts edit done in real time, and it just worked out really, really, really well. So Cobra continues on. He wins multiple more matches and he gets to the top 4. And then once he gets to the top 4, he runs into the same guy that beat him in the hook in the second match. And he lost again to that guy in the hook.
And the Cobra Rhodes that arm wrestled, I think you mentioned before, you're telling me he just basically got off the couch. This is no
Yeah.
training, no prep.
I think he's been thinking about things. I think maybe he's, just kind of testing out the waters a little bit to kind of feel like if he would have gone to this tournament and got smoked, that probably would have told it to him. But he felt, I think, in my opinion, anyways, he did very, very well for not having competed at that level in a long time and really just kind of walking into things. He was pulling 76 too. And he's like a 165er. So he didn't do any of that. He just went in there, did what he needed to do, and he looked pretty damn good doing it. And now he has a lot better of an idea and a lot more data on where to go from here. So I think it's definitely likely that we will be seeing more of Cobra in the future.
So we spoke about it a little bit. So Cobra coming back, he was like, okay, let's get into the social media game. Contacted Uncle John. You guys kind of partnered up, and it's like been trying to grow it from there. And you and I have both said to Cobra, hey, you wanna really play this game? We got to see you arm wrestle. And of course, he was, the weird part about Cobra is if you asked me about Cobra, a descriptor, it would always been like confidence, like the man just exploded confidence. So it was weird for me to see some like hesitancy to get back on the table. And for me, if you would ask me like, oh, is his personal expectation to go out and like dominate absolutely like right away? Like, is a guy like that who has achieved so many things in the sport, are they have a reality expectation of what to happen on the table? Or are they like expecting the old glory days right away?
Yeah. So, I mean, Cobra, the reality is Cobra is 56 years old, right? Cobra hasn't pulled in a while, but Cobra, for those of you who maybe are new to arm wrestling, you know Cobra, but let me assure you that if you're asking about the all-time greatest pound for pound puller, in my opinion, it is Cobra. And in 99% of people's opinions, there's like 3 guys, and Cobra's always one of them, right? Cobra's greatest decade was like we're talking like late 80s into the late 90s. Okay. That was like when he was on. Then he had a car accident in like 2000 or something like that. But still, even with that, being very banged up, continued to be quite dominant, not at the same level for that next 10 years. And as he got a little bit older, I think that he just like what else do you have to prove when you've got multiple world titles? You've killed it at the Arnold Classic multiple times. You've done Arm Wars. You've done WAL. Like the guy has absolutely done it all. But I think that for Cobra, there has been a rekindling of an enormous fire inside of him. And over the last month, I've seen it in his face, in his eyes. I have seen all that happen. And I'm, for one, looking forward to it.
Okay, Jamie Sheldon, before I introduce you, I have one thing to say. So, Cobra Rhodes, if you're listening, I don't know if you're listening to, mark down this 14 minutes into the show. You have to hear this Cobra Rhodes. I was talking to you off camera. I said, you know what? To me, the better story is a Cobra coming back, going through the grind, maybe not win a few, lose a few, like the comeback story. That to me is the greater story. And I'm so glad to hear that Cobra was very like not beating himself up when he was giving you his little updates. So I just want to close with this. Cobra Rhodes, listen to me very carefully. One of the highest hit videos on ARMTV is this video called Old Dudes Rule. This guy, Lynn Brower, Southern California, going to battle with this dude 40 years younger than him.
Oh, yeah.
When you mention Cobra Rhodes' age, if you want to capture lightning in a bottle, like if you say, hey, how do you duplicate Schoolboy's success? You know, like where this guy becomes ultimately popular and brings in all these people into arm wrestling. A guy like Cobra Rhodes, your age could be what makes the difference. You come back, you start training and you get all fired up. The gray, the Cobra style, he's got everything. That could be a game changer for the sport of arm wrestling. Like I know there's all sorts of people breaking doors down and changing the game. But to see the young people comment about what they've seen Cobra come back, man, I really believe Cobra. And you don't even have to win all your matches. Just seeing you out there doing your thing, I think the world would just love it if you just give us more of it. Take that to the bank, my friend. Jamie, I was on Facebook and I saw you say something similar to got you fired up. Seen Cobra back on the table. Tell us.
He's muted.
Muted. Oh, my bad.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
My bad, Jamie. My bad. Jamie Sheldon, NatFit Nation. Welcome to the show. I saw you put on Facebook something similar. What?
Yeah, I heard you. When I was watching your guys' show, I only had a few minutes to chime in, and then I heard that you guys were going to have Cobra on there and follow him around. I thought that was the greatest idea ever, and just seeing him back there, doing his walk, his little entrance walk, getting fired up, it lit a fuse under me too. Like it was, and I've known the guy 16 years, and I thought it was just the greatest thing that I could ever watch that day. So, I mean, I knew that tournament was going on, and hats off to everybody who competed, but that is why I really wanted to watch that, because win or lose, I mean, it's Cobra. The fact that he came back, the fact that he's just got that much energy, you wanted to see what was going to happen. That was what was going to sell that event, win or lose, right?
Yeah.
And I saw his first match, and I had to head out, but I think I saw him like beat one guy, and then I was like, all right, well, he looks fine. But then I heard him say that his top roll felt good, but he didn't necessarily know if he'd have the power if somebody actually came in there with some power to back it up. So I thought, oh, that's going to be interesting for the rest of the day. And then I just left it at that. And then I figured I'd, chime in later and find out. But yeah, do more of that. That was perfect.
As soon as borders come down, I'm just going to go and follow him around and and then we can do the live right from there. So it's just right there, right then, and we can get in the thick of it. But it was so entertaining. I was not like, it was the easiest day of work of my life, probably.
Yeah. Just finding out what was going to happen next.
So good.
And just, yeah.
It
was
and to
classic
hear,
Cobra.
Even when he took a loss, he came back and he came to the camera and it was just pure wisdom, right? Of everything he was saying about what he was feeling, where the aches were, where the pains were, where he was at psychologically. And there's some gems in there for sure.
Can I ask you guys a question regarding age? Is there any other sport like arm wrestling where, like if you look at, let's say, football, they want to retire you, like Tom Brady's, how it's Tom Brady, and they keep trying to say, like, how long can you go? Like, dude, you're only 40 or whatever. It's like arm wrestling, you can age out and get better, right? I mean, you can still be strong. Your body acclimates to this kind of tension. Not every sport has that. Doesn't that make us unique, is what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like golf. Well, actually it's not, but well, I guess in ways it is. I mean, you can golf at 80 years old and still be dominant, right? 70 years old, some of those guys, those classic dudes. But I think you have those peaks and valleys. Like I'm starting to see in the last 5 years of my career, and I'm 40, I noticed my best performances. So, I was pulling in my 20s and I wasn't at my best. It took me to get closer to 40 to realize that. Now, maybe there's another another peak when I'm 50. Who knows? But some of these guys are still in it. Like Ron Bath shows up everywhere, and he's still in contention to win everywhere he goes. Right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so like back in the day, I remember like guys like Norm Devio, you know, they continued to wow people because of their performance at this age. Now let's think about it. If all of you guys out there just keep hanging in there, just imagine instead of like your troll army, imagine your old dude army, just a bunch of old, strong. Like if you don't quit, I mean, dude, how can the sport not explode to the masses with not just one Norm Devio, but like hundreds of you mofos led by one Cobra Rhodes, gray, you know, things flying through there.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I mean, just like that video you filmed that everybody stole from you that posted.
Oh, that was your tournament.
That was my event. Yeah.
That was your turn.
100 million views. Nickelodeon called me. They put it on Gronkowski's show. Like that video, the most popular arm wrestling video of all time, I would think, right? Or at least,
dude, it was stolen, and I feel bad because at that dude, Jamie Sheldon, I forgot that was a period of time where I was not thinking about arm wrestling at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you messaged me, you're like, look at this. And I wasn't guarding my business. I wasn't guarding, you know, now I got shit on lockdown. People start sharing, I know.
Remember that, Gary? We had everybody surrounding the table. This is before they did that.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
I remember that night. I remember that tournament.
Crazy.
Hey, what's the young man's name that he beat?
Robert Chavez.
Robert Chavez. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I don't want to spend all night on Cobra because we got some cool stuff to talk about. I want to talk about the end of that show.
Oh my God.
When you were getting some closing words from one Mr. Cobra Rhodes.
Yep.
You had the one, the only Neil Pickup pop up on your show.
Well, so whenever I'm doing something like that with Cobra, I always think of Neil first because Neil has this with Cobra where Cobra was like the man when Neil was like in his teens, just coming into arm wrestling, right? And so I once, because you had to leave, so I sent out a few links to different people. I think I sent one to Jamie, and you know, some people were around, some people weren't. Neil said, "All right, I'm coming on." So Neil comes on and we talk for a little bit. And Cobra was there, and Cobra was like losing power in his phone. And Neil says, "Well, that's all great. What would you guys say to having a match at Arm Wars?" And I'm like,
you're like, we're partners. Where you want us to arm wrestle?
Well, that's what I thought at first. I was like, "Oh, you want me to arm wrestle Cobra at Arm Wars? That's going to be interesting." No. He wants each of us to have a match at Arm Wars, separate from each other. And of course, I lost my mind on the live stream because obviously an Arm Wars match for me is by far the biggest thing that has ever happened to me in my arm wrestling career, and then some. So yes, I very excitedly accepted that invitation immediately.
Bucket list, right?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nice.
Hey, I don't want to beat the dead horse, but isn't Neil Pickup bringing Arm Wars back another sign that there's, hey girl,
hi,
isn't that another sign that there's, Jamie Sheldon, you're a wall athlete.
Yeah. Who knows? I'm 202 pounds. I don't know if I'm going to get a phone call.
If I keep being told that Wall is coming back, especially your partner, Cobra Rhodes, he told me that you got the man coming on. You guys are going to do an interview with him. If he's doesn't Neil Pickup doing Arm Wars mean no Arm Wars? I mean, no Wall?
Nothing to do with it. Neil is Arm Wars. He can do that whenever he has the timing, right? So as long as he's not preoccupied with WAL, he can do arm wars. That's my understanding of it, especially if it's over there in England. You know, we get emails every few weeks from WAL just kind of keeping us in the loop, and it sounds like something might. I'm just a fly that gets a little email every so often. I'm not on the wall. I'm just, but something might happen. I don't know to what extent, but there will be some sort of a WAL presence this year. It's what we're told, because we'll be open enough to have something.
Okay,
It just
Uncle
won't be on the
John.
grand scale.
Uncle John, you said something. If Wall comes back, it would have to ...
Well, it's gonna. I'm really excited to see what they have, because I am in the camp that WAL is still alive, but with everything we've seen throughout COVID, and now that Larry has his gig going, now that, from what I understand, Devin is no longer under contract with WAL. I don't know if Michael is under contract with WAL. I don't see there being a ton of arm wrestlers who are at the super elite level that are going to be signing long-term contracts.
Right.
So I would imagine at the very least, WAL is going to have to change, you know, because I know at one point people were signing like 5-year deals, and 5 years is like outrageous to me at this point in my opinion. Like, I don't know why you would do that when there's so many other opportunities that are going to be coming up. We're at a boom point in the arm wrestling continuum. So that's what I'm excited for, is will WAL be able to filter through more people and just say, okay, we're going to do a 1-show deal, a 1-match deal. Here, come on in. This is the match. Is that what they're going to be forced to do? I don't know, but I am interested in seeing what kind of format. Yeah,
that's what they did for a lot of guys. I mean, my last match with Alan was a one match deal. Like, I wasn't locked into anything after that. So it was like, well, if they do that for more guys, which I was under the impression that's what was going to happen in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of guys on that roster. I mean, if you saw some of those names, you'd be like, oh yeah, well, that makes total sense. And they got canned. But I think those are just going to be match offers, one and done. And if they like you or they want to bring you back, great. And it gives a lot more opportunities for the extra 20 guys that are towards the top or exciting or whatever, however they choose them. So, you know,
I love that. I want more. I want more. Also, we got a super chat, by the way. Mike Coburg, $4.99. He says, "What's up, Mr. Shelton?" We got Mega Mike. Yeah,
Mega Mike. Sheldon with a D. Sheldon with a D. Let's just keep it. So funny that you bring up the wall thing and you think that they will change. Okay, before I give my thought, what is your vision on how they would change? You just saying they would just stop doing contracts? Would they change formats?
I'm saying I don't know what they would do, but I think they have to do something, because the way they were doing it 3, 4, 5 years ago it's a completely different world for arm wrestling now, right? 3 years ago, there was a tenth of the awareness of arm wrestling on the internet. Now that has exploded. Now we have Larry Wheels putting his foot on the table, so to speak. We have all these other big things. We have proven that like Devin could literally just pay people to come to his house and do matches at his house and get just as many eyes as most WAL events.
Right. It's that easy now.
Yeah.
And if you look at most of the guys on that roster, minus like the very, very top guys in certain weight classes, everybody was out competing this year and last year. I mean, could you have imagined a Paul Talbot versus Justin Bishop match not under WAL? And it just happened in Hawthorne, Nevada, and there's going to be more matches like that popping up. And so it's that easy to do. Yeah. Now, if you still want to run a legitimate business, which I'm sure they do, right? Because Steve is a businessman. Mm-hmm. What's the dynamic shift in how you approach that? I mean, I'm not a genius as far as that type of business, but I'm sure they have something in the works dialed in to where they can still have some sort of a control, but not as much control as they did before. Well, it's still their baby, right?
Yeah, Eric Racine says, other than the super elite, I don't think many will hesitate to sign. Most higher level pullers would be thrilled to pull on the big stage for a bit of money. I agree, but how long are they signing for? That's my question.
Okay, so you guys watched the big fight this weekend?
I did see it. I did see it.
Okay, you know, whether you thought that was awesome or a disaster or whatever, there the headlines the next Monday or yesterday was like a lower tier UFC athlete. I can't remember his name, not like a major star. He was like, "Yo, Dana, let's renew some of these contracts. These YouTubers and retired peeps are making millions. What about us over here?" And his response was basically like, Dana White said, "Well, you should have become a YouTuber." I thought that was funny, which essentially it's like, hey, if you want the big contract, you got to be, you got to be a celebrity YouTuber. You should have done that.
It's like
Otherwise,
the music business, right? Did the music business, do they still need those big record companies anymore? There's a lot of guys that are and gals that are just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So you can make your own way now, right? You're not as dependent on the big companies to do your thing anymore. And that's a crazy thing. That's a crazy time to be in, right?
Well, the reason I brought it up with Uncle John is because you said, well, hey, I mean, I wouldn't have gotten invited to Arm Wars had I not been on social media.
Well, this is the delineation I make all the time is that as things change in arm wrestling, how you get to the top level can also change in how you get to arm wrestling. No matter what, you're going to have some level of ability, a significant level of ability to get on these big cards, right? But let me tell you what, if I would still just be John Thompson that never started a YouTube channel, Neil ain't calling me.
Yeah.
Right. He'd have no reason to, because I haven't even been able to pull more than 2 times in the last year and a half. Right. So there's a couple different perspectives. One is the people who don't think that that's viable at all, and usually those are the people who don't have a single creative bone in their body and they can't promote themselves. And then you have people that want to split the difference and they say, well, I'm going to do everything I can to put myself where I am, like a guy like Ryan Bowen. Ryan Bowen is a very good arm wrestler, but Ryan Bowen would not be where he is now unless he had done all of his stuff on YouTube.
I mean, I would like to say, so I'm having a show in a couple weeks and I want to make content, and I'm hoping enough arm wrestlers show up that like, for instance, how we just talked about Cobra, that has the it factor. He has everything. I'm not necessarily looking for a world champion. I'm looking for the guy with the package who can, be awesome and raise the view count and make the show exciting and give us some good matches. It's like, it's the same thing. If somebody comes to my event and they maybe they don't even win more than half their matches, but they have that little sparkle. My camera's going to draw to them. I'm going to ask questions about them. I'm like, oh man, you were exciting to watch. And sometimes I've seen some of the most amazing matches, and the guy who lost is equally interesting. And I'm going to want to talk to that guy more and invite him to my next event. And that helps build his presence. It's like, I think maybe that's the key to being successful in this next vision of arm wrestling, is that you have to be good on social media. You have to be they have to have some of that it power that's going to get you invited, talk to more. Then the more popular you are, the bigger your paycheck gets, You know how
I know I'm doing something right? There's an account on YouTube called Uncle John's Mustache, and he says, anyone notice how amazing we look tonight?
That's classic.
I just see it, and he says, Gary Roberts, I'm looking for the man with the package. Yeah. It's like, dude, if we want to sell arm wrestling, we can't bore people to death.
Those days are over.
Yeah, we need some excitement.
Yeah, it's happening.
Absolutely.
Timing.
Jamie, I'm glad I just thought of something, and you were in the chat. I think Travis was asking me, and I mentioned about 20 grand tournaments a month for like life. And you said something. I forgot to totally get back to you on that. You said something like, "Oh, do you know how much you'd have to like be making $1 million, and you got to think about taxes and paying the that." And I was just saying.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if I had, so back in the old model, I had 2,400 ARMTV members lifetime. And if I could have kept them for a 1 month total instead of spread out over 10 years, that'd give you around, 40 to 50 G working capital. With that, you could start putting something like 20 G towards promoting arm wrestling. That was like a big picture dream. I wasn't saying that's something I can do in like a year. That was just, if I reached that level, I would be perfectly happy for all eternity, is what I was saying. But I recognize that
my comment was more towards the, like, okay, how much has to be coming in per year minimum for you to do a 20,000 a month tournament, right?
Right.
There has to be a lot of money because, I mean, given so many factors, and everybody says, "Oh, if I had this, and money, I do this for the sport." It's like, yeah, bullshit. Let's say I have $1 million. Okay, I have 3 daughters, mortgage, cars, family, whatever, a business that I have to keep reinvesting in to grow. How much of that do you think we could invest in arm wrestling right now? Realistically, not knowing where business can go. Now, let's say I have a $10 million operation 5 years from now. Yeah, 20,000 a month. That sounds pretty reasonable because that's just extra money. That's just interest because everything else is taken care of and it's running on its own. But $1 million doesn't go very far unless you have it coming in yearly. But even then, how much of that do you not secure for everything else in your life first so that you can think long term, right? So that was more my point. And people say what they would do with their money if they had a ton of money. It's like, well, okay, well, I'll ask you again when you have that because you don't know if it's still going to be there, right?
Here's kind of what I was thinking. Just your dream. I just had a number. It seemed like back in the day, $20,000 was
That's like a great tournament. Yeah,
that was like a magic number, and it was like, man, if arm wrestling could have one $20,000 a tournament a month, could that? I mean, what could that do for the sport of arm wrestling? So that was just like my dream wish. I don't know if we'd get there, but that's 240K. So I recognize you probably got to, you got to have a lot more money to be pumping that out. I get that. Giles Russell says, he says, Gary, if you want to all but eliminate straps and slips, just don't allow anyone to cap their thumb. Is it that easy?
What are you saying? You can't slip if you don't cap?
He's saying you would prevent slips if you don't allow capping. I thought
there might be less, but it's not like you can't slip if you don't cap. That's not how arm wrestling works.
You can grip low and slip. I mean, you can, yeah.
There might be less. There might be.
Yeah.
What else did we have on our I forgot my next. So we got Armors, Cobra returns. Dude, so my event's coming up. Is it normal to be like scared shitless?
Yeah.
I'm like so nervous. I'm scared to promote. So I told the venue guy I was going to pass out flyers to the local community because I wanted to try to create some spectators there. I've only ever seen arm wrestling flyers that cater to getting an arm wrestler there. And I don't necessarily care about having 1,000 arm wrestlers. I wanted some spectators, but now I'm totally like freaked out. and I don't want to invite anybody because I don't know if the show's going to go or not. I'm so nervous.
Promoting sucks, man. That's stressful. Arm wrestling's easy. Promotions is where that's too much stress. Good luck with that. You'll do fine, Gary.
Well, I'm trying to keep it small.
Yeah, but you know you're passionate about what you do, so it's normal to be a nervous wreck.
Jamie, you said so I've seen NatFit on tournaments, the NatFit events. Is that your like? Are you basically sponsoring events? Are you putting on events? Like, is it your goal to promote eventually?
My goal is to have, yes, to some extent. How we're set up right now is, we have territory distributors all over the country, and then in Canada, whatever. Each territory can sponsor its own area. So when I get hit up, and I'm in Riverside, California, when I get hit up from areas that have never supported NatFit, never even talked to me on the phone, and they're asking for money, I say no. Not because I don't want to help things out. Hold on a second. It's because we're not there yet to where we could just give money to everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still in the infant stages of our business. Give Daddy a second. But if there's an event in Kansas City, Missouri, and Brian's right there, and he runs NatFit Kansas City, he can slap a NatFit on it, NatFit Midwest Open, and he did it twice. I had nothing to do with the promotion. I just showed up and supported it. So is it a NatFit promotion? Absolutely. Do we want to have like a huge type of presence at some point? Yes. And actually, I've got a few conversations I got to have tomorrow too about kind of getting on a larger scale. But yeah, you'll start to see NatFit promotions everywhere.
I mean, that's the best of both worlds, right? If you have like a local guy who wants to, promote the NatFit brand, I mean.
Right. And I sponsor local people. Like I help out Derek Smith whenever he has something, because he's been with me since day one. And we try to help out other people. Jake and I have helped out some of the other arm wrestlers that, guys that we like and want to see them go do well. But unfortunately, we're not at that point to where we can just sponsor everything. And we've sponsored a lot. I've given away a ton of money, a lot of product, over the last 4 years to get it out there. And it still gets me when people call me or message me and say, hey, you should sponsor this thing happening in Europe. It'll get your brand out there. Well, the fuck it won't. Like, we don't have a distribution in Europe. So what does it benefit my company to give money to something that far away?
Yeah.
Because you can't order from me from over there. We're not going to ship it overseas. If I have somebody distributing in Ukraine or Turkey, then it makes sense to, jump on top of it from there, but not from here. Arm wrestlers know we're fucking NatFit. I don't need to send $1,000 so two guys that I don't know can go arm wrestle. That doesn't make sense. Is that a good business plan? No. So I just like when people try to tell me how to run my business. It's like, you guys don't understand. But yes, I do want to help out arm wrestling. That's my ultimate goal. I told you that a long time ago, Gary.
Yeah.
We just have to take baby steps.
I'm glad you're smart about that, because I mean, I'm the kind of guy that takes too big of steps and then fucking falls off the cliff.
Well, you got to take calculated risks, Gary. I've taken risks, big ones, but they're calculated. I mean, you can't be stupid, but you got to be a little crazy, right?
You know what? Speaking as a NatFit Canada sponsored athlete, I can say one. NatFit. Yes, I just talked to Kane Hemsing today. We were talking about all the new stuff that's going to be coming out in NatFit Canada. Anybody in Canada, new products coming out. I don't want to say too much, but there sounds like there's some good stuff on the way.
Oh yeah, Kane is doing very, very well out there, and I'm very happy that he's the guy doing that for me out there. And we got some other good guys on board too, helping out. And Canada is growing, so I'm very happy with that promotion.
Jamie, guess what I'm bringing back?
What's that? Sorry.
The Velcro strap. I'm bringing that back, baby. I just ordered 30 yards of material to have Real Elimination straps produced, all Velcro. Okay, I have somebody trying
Why Velcro?
just to be different. For me, Rule of the Nation with the overalls, I want Speedy because it's king of the table. So I think the Velcro goes on and comes off much quicker. So I'm bringing it back. I see no reason.
So it's
for
just
it
the
to,
speed
yeah,
aspect.
I see no reason for it to have completely left the building permanently. So
Okay.
can I read you guys something?
Yeah.
I'm curious about this. I was on Facebook. I saw Igor Mazurenko shared a professional arm wrestling league. He says, regarding the much requested Levon versus Devin match, PAL wants to congratulate Devin Larratt on his recent victory over the always dangerous Michael Todd and apologize to their fans for any perceived disrespect their fans might have felt in PAL's stance towards these athletes. It was not our intent. Instead, we aim to create a promotion, And it goes on and on. And to me, I wanted your thoughts because that's a big change in his attitude regarding that match.
Is that really an apology, though? That sounded like he's saying you guys mistook what I said. That's not an apology, is it?
The word perceived really does put it on there.
That's kind of a, I don't know about that one. That's kind of a half-assed apology. I mean,
I really started to believe Igor was just figuring out how to troll. Because if you look at it from just a trolling perspective, he did it right. He got everybody talking about PAL at the same time he was advertising for the beginning of Top 8, Levin versus Chafee, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like the world is different and like Igor's interested in promoting. He's promoting his thing. I'm promoting my thing. I'm doing my ROTN and it's like everyone's doing their thing. But like the community is like, but here's the important thing. And so for a hot second, you need to forget about and be a team player. Like, is he expected to give way to the community's pressure? Or is what he do? I mean,
he doesn't have to do anything.
No.
Just right. He doesn't have to. That's his right. But
so I talked to Igor and Kirill with Cobra, right? We interviewed him. And basically what they said is, look, we have an operation here. And for a long time, we would go after the big names. And for the month leading up to that match, everybody was like, PAL's the best. You guys are awesome. Oh, PAL's so cool. And the day after the match, nobody cared. Nobody cared. So they made a decision as a company to not do that anymore. And so that was their explanation when I asked them very bluntly, like, why are you not? This was when we were talking about Michael versus Levin at that point in time.
Yeah.
But they're just like, I don't have a problem with what Igor is doing at all, like other than the antagonistic stuff, right?
Yeah.
But just from the business standpoint, he has his business model. He does. It's like this, Gary. You have ROTN, right? Let's say this becomes a really cool thing. It goes on for 20 years because PAL's been doing their thing for 20 years. And then I come to you and I'm like, Gary, stop doing this goddamn ROTN. You need to put this guy and this guy together right now, this minute.
How does that sound, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally get it.
So that's the thing, is that really what Igor did was he just was kind of rude about it, right? He downplayed American arm wrestling, those entertainment guys over there. We're the real
his PR
sport.
person should be fired, right? So if like a celebrity says something wrong, they're bashed for it. Yeah, okay, he said something he shouldn't have, but he's entitled to do and operate however he wants. That's his right. Now, could things may have been said differently? Possibly. But that's why you have PR people that tell you, "Oh, don't say that." Just like our president should have that too, right?
So that's what I mean. Did he put out this statement because I mean, did the trashing of the arm wrestling community towards him get to him? Like,
Well,
why
maybe
does
he
he
had a
care?
conversation with Devin, and Devin was like, well, let's do business. And they were like, okay. I mean, it could have happened.
I love that scenario. That sounds good. Let's go with that. Let's go with that.
I mean, is that match going to happen or no? That's not going to happen. Devin and Levon.
I sure hope so.
Some point, maybe. Who knows?
Probably not I would say probably not this year.
I mean, if you're Igor and you see this massive success that these YouTubers / elite arm wrestlers, they are like, whatever Devin is doing, he's got, I mean, the people love him. He's hitting this new peak of like, oh, we've never seen that guy before, opening all these doors towards new arm wrestlers. And I don't know what the breakdown of the new arm wrestlers are. It's the American segment versus the world. But like, if you're Igor and you want your company to continue growing, wouldn't it make sense? Like we were talking about, it makes sense for Neil Pickup to call one Uncle John. What if Uncle John, Devin Larratt, said you might have 1 million YouTube followers one day as the sport explodes? Why wouldn't I invite you? It makes smart sense,
but
right?
You know what, though? He does have our strongest arm wrestler going over there. Dave, let's not forget. Dave Chafee is going to go pull Levon, right? And somehow, amongst all this hype and Dubai and all this, everybody forgot about Dave.
Yeah, so if I were to put out a...
What if Dave cracks Levon? That answers so many questions that Igor doesn't have to cater to. But so if then he'll have to try to figure out who his next boy is going to be, because then we know who number 1 is.
If I put out a poll right now, Devin or Dave Chafee versus Devin Larratt, who wins that? Who wins the poll?
Wait, Devin versus who?
Dave Chafee.
Right now?
Yeah. As is tomorrow.
When's the last time we saw Dave pull? I mean, that was a long while ago, I think.
Against Devin, was it?
It might have been. It might have been.
Right-handed? He pulled left-handed against.
Yeah, against Corey West.
Corey West, yeah.
And he looked good left, but like the left is not what we're in, I guess.
I'd love to see that one, though. Dave versus Devin now, the way Devin's been pulling.
Oh, of course. Under
coin flip, right?
Especially under like WAF rules. I still give the edge to Devin, most likely, in my heart. But man, Dave is just one of the most dangerous humans on the planet as far as arm wrestling goes with his power. I mean, people tend to forget really easily that at one point in time, Dave Chafee made Denis Saplinkov look kind of weak. Like Denis Saplinkov. I mean, come on.
Made him look human, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like the arm wrestling community, because of what happened with Devin and Michael, was like, they want to just, like, normally we'd be like, oh, awesome, let's see Dave Chafee and then Levon, and then we talk about, Devin after. But I wanted to ask you, is it because Dave Chafee doesn't have the social media presence that we were talking about earlier that people are kind of like not really talking about him and want to just slide Devin in there?
Well, out of sight, out of mind, right? Same thing happened to Paul Talbot, the best left-handed arm wrestler under 200 pounds in North America. And nobody talks about him until he shows up in Hawthorne. Look what he does, right?
Well,
so if you're not a social media guy.
That's it. Jamie just hit it. Paul Talbot and Dave Chafee, very similar in that sense. These are guys who want to go about their business. They want to get to that table. They want to go to war. They want to prove their point on the table. And they're not really interested in all of the other shenanigans. Devin is interested in the shenanigans, right? And the shenanigans is what gets your name out there, gets you farther down the road. Plus, Dave had the unfortunate situation of having 2 losses in the WAL, which a lot of people believe were losses because of the way the WAL is rather than quote unquote legit losses. So I'm not making a comment on whether that is or is not true, but I want to see Dave on a WAF style table with WF style rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally
I
agree.
think after coming back into the sport and watching wall stuff, my biggest pet peeve is those. I hate those big elbow pads. I don't know why they changed them. I think the arm wrestling community loves the 7x7, right? Like if we were to have a big organization come in, pump a bunch of money, you wouldn't mess with the elbow pads, right? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. 7x7?
I don't know. I kind of like those 9-inch pads.
You like them?
Oh,
Yeah, I like to drag way back.
I would like them if they weren't so springy. If they were like the hard ones, except longer, I would be much more interested in that.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to head out. Got kids running around crazy, but hey, good talking to both of you. Respect you both. You guys are doing good stuff.
Jamie, before you go, did you see Leonard Harkless post about the elbow in the air?
Yes, with the tricep on the pad.
Yeah. Where do you fall on that rule? Is that?
I don't know. I'm not a ref, but I'm a skinny guy, so I'm susceptible to more elbow fouls than those big guys if the point of my elbow is showing, right? Certain organizations will say, well, his elbow's off the pad. It's like, no, it's not. My elbow could be on, just the point of my elbow pops off. So a little bit more exaggerated is like the tricep going up like that. But it makes sense to me. Unless you're pulling somebody with a really, really, really long arm that can keep going forward, I don't really see. I don't know.
You're saying the big arm wrestlers get a bias because
they've got that big meaty elbow, whereas I have a pointy, bony elbow right here. So
interesting.
It's like, hold on, honey. Like if my arm's on like this, you could still see my elbow off. But what if my forearm is still on it? Are they going to call the elbow foul? It's
interesting.
part of my elbow.
Thank you for coming on the show, Jamie.
Yeah.
We love you. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll catch you another time.
Yeah. Talk soon, Gary.
See you, brother.
Uncle John.
Yes, sir.
East versus West. I gotta say, I'm not the most knowledgeable. That's the biggest thing going on this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I know Todd Hutchings. I know Herman Stevens over there. I don't know much else.
Well, I think the biggest match of it all. Well, so it's kind of an Ingenturzi joint, if you will. He started the ball rolling, and Herman Stevens got behind that, started a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe, if anyone is interested in donating, the money apparently is going towards paying the arm wrestlers. It's currently at almost $11,000, which is quite impressive by itself. But there's a lot of matches. There's quite a few matches. The biggest one is probably Matt Mask versus Hermes Gasparini, right? That's kind of the big one, and not necessarily because it's the best one. I think I'm more interested in Hutchings and Zoloev, but these guys have a history, right? Mask and Gasparini, because they pulled in the WAL, and Matt Mask notoriously won, and Hermes Gasparini notoriously blamed it pretty much on the WAL rules. Also, we got a super chat from Eric Racine, $6.99. Thank you so much, Eric. By the way, I have to say something about Eric Racine here too. He says, is the super chat function not working tonight? Let's go. Okay, before we get into it, I'm going to make a video of this, but Eric Racine sent me a package. I got a package in the mail the other day. I'm going to get what was in the package.
What? Eric Racine sent you a care package?
Oh my God. I have not been so excited about the contents of a package in forever.
What?
So,
Eric Racine. What's up, man?
Eric Racine is the man. He sent me, I'm like an action figure nut, right?
Yeah.
And so I had been on one of my live streams, I was talking about the over-the-top action figures because they've actually become quite rare, and they're a commodity, because there's a Brzezinski action figure, there's the Stallone, there's a Johnny Walker, a Cleve Dean, all these things. And our buddy Aussie arm wrestler, he's got the Stallone mint in the package still, right? So I was like, oh, I want these things, but they're very hard to come by. Very hard to come by. So Eric Racine sends me a package. Boom. We got the Stallone figure and the Johnny Walker figure.
What?
Look at this. So these guys, you put their arm up, right? And this was the deal. They had a little table that you could put them at. You put their arm up, and then they've got a spinny thing in the back, and then you fight with your friends. You can arm wrestle with your friends, right? Freaking Johnny Walker and Lincoln Hawk. Are you kidding me? This is the best thing ever,
bro.
Like my favorite thing in the history of time. So
that is above and beyond.
Oh, the best, the best. So I'm gonna put together a video on the backstory on the over-the-top action figures, and talk about what they were, where they were, how long they were out for, all that kind of stuff.
Can I give a little side story?
Yeah.
So last week we had some, I don't know if everyone's been paying attention, but I've gone on record multiple times saying that my wife is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love her so much. We are so happy. We have a beautiful boy. If there's one issue I have in my marriage, it's that my wife is still puzzled about the sport of arm wrestling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's still saying, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. She's going to be running brackets for me at my event. It's going to be the first time she's going to be watching arm wrestling, but we had a family friend over of hers, similar age gal, and they came over, and of course the conversation came up, but tell me about this arm wrestling. And immediately I kind of poked fun. I was like, are you sure you want to get into that? Because my wife isn't in love with it, because I start to get passionate, when I start to talk about the sport of arm wrestling. And it was almost like this lady was so into it. She was like, what? Tell me more. Tell me more. And so I talked about over the top, and then she's like, oh my gosh. So her son was there. And I said something about a meme, and the kid was like, what meme? She's like, oh my gosh. This is like, you could totally bond with my kid. Anyways, dude, at the lunch table, her and her son, they both logged on to ROTN, subbed. She's probably in her 40s, right? Lady never had anything to do with arm wrestling. They said they were going to go home and look up Over the Top and watch it. And I was like, oh, it's Sylvester Stallone. She's, wow, I love Stallone. But they had never heard about it. And I was like, I looked at my wife and I give a little wink. I was like, yeah, converted. So if they're out there watching, because they subscribed, I converted 2 arm wrestling fans, and they went home to watch Over the Top. I don't know the reviews yet. I have to wait till I see them. But anyways,
a stunning performance from Robert Loggia.
I cannot believe. Does Eric Racine have just action figures hanging around that he can just give
I
them
like
away?
to think so, but I am so happy with these things. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like,
I mean, dude, I have yet.
Think about this. This is Johnny Walker. There's a Cleve Dean one. There's a John Brzenk one. Imagine if a movie came out today and it was so well supported that it was like Devin Larratt and Michael Todd and Cobra Rhodes and, phenomenal.
Uncle John, do you see over here? These are called shelves.
Yeah.
I bet Eric probably is giving away the only ones he's ever given away. So anyone out there who's got action figures, wait, I have a shelf. I don't have any over-the-top action figures. They could go perfectly at home right here. We do name shout outs. Just thinking, anyone? Man, dude, you've moved beyond me. You're the man.
Well, I think I don't know what I think, but I'm eternally grateful. And I probably at 37 years old, I don't think there's anyone on the planet who was going to be more excited about receiving these action figures, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't even know He asked me for my mailing address like a week or two ago, and then I forgot about it. And then I saw this. My wife brought in the package, and I was like, "Oh, right, Eric was sending me something." My wife can attest. I was a small child. I was a small child. I went back to 5 years old. No doubt about it.
Dude, well, anyways, congratulations. I'm jealous. But while you were doing that, I pulled up Hermes Gasparini versus Matt Mask, the Wall official video.
Yeah.
On the YouTube channel that hasn't been updated in months, even though they're still alive. And I just see Hermes Gasparini look like he pretty much handled Matt Mask in match 1 pretty convincingly. You're telling me that Matt Mask comes back on that?
Yep. That's exactly.
So this is a pretty good rematch then.
Well, so here's the deal. So Matt Mask comes back, beats him fairly impressively. Afterwards, there's video of an after pull with Matt and Hermes, and Matt can't do anything with Hermes. Hermes was beating him up all over the practice table after the match. Hermes took this to mean, oh, well, if I just get him on a regular table with WAF rules, it's going to be a very different situation, right? So this is why Hermes has become known as the practice table champion. And all that whole meme started up because of that. Now, I think this match is actually going to be pretty close. Hermes looks like a man possessed. I think he's probably been training for this since the moment he lost at the WAL. Now, the problem with this is what, like, so Matt wins in WAL. Let's say Hermes wins under the WAF rules. What does that tell us? It means one guy is better in one situation and the other guy is better in the other situation. So I don't know.
So who's doing the matchmaking? Ingen Terzies, he's the one? Like, how did they figure out? How did they get this?
I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Hermes asked for the match and Matt and Hermes set up the match. Okay. Yeah. They decided to have it in Turkey, and I don't know if Engin offered to host it or whatever, and that was going to be the match. But then somewhere along the line, some other matches got added in, and I don't know how it all worked out, but Engin got Herman involved. Herman started the GoFundMe, and now like Sarah Bachman is going to be there. Tony Katowski has a match. Herman has a match. A few other people have matches as well. So it's turning into a really, really good event.
I mean, is Ingen Terzi the next huge matchmaker? Is this?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I mean, maybe he will, but I don't see it long term. But I don't know. For me, it just comes down to the fact that Engin doesn't like to have fun very much.
Am I allowed to share a match?
Oh, you're gonna get taken down for sure. You'll get taken.
Oh, don't do it! Don't do it!
I mean, you might get 30 seconds out of it, 45 seconds out of it, but they will.
I've never shared. Okay, dude, you're saying you didn't watch the Logan Paul?
Oh, I did. Yeah. But also, dude, Repulsive Gravity says for $9.99 super chat, Hermes has a weird baby face. He needs a mustache. I agree. Everybody does.
I have never seen, in all my years of following sports in the last few years, I consider myself an internet guy. Like I'm not like know about the dark web, but if it's like not the dark web, I pretty much feel like I know shit. I have never seen the amount of sharing illegal streams.
Oh God, yeah.
As I saw of that this weekend.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's just a one-off. And sadly, there's this guy, Sweet Tea, and he's local here. He was so proud that he shared it illegally. And he got like 1,000 or 2,000 subs on TikTok. And it just reminds me, if arm wrestling does break through and does become, it's so sad how many, especially like you're in the sport. I would like to go on record and say, yes, when I was living in my RV and I didn't have regular TV, I wasn't subscribed to some NFL packages, and I did look for a few games that I wanted to watch, and I was trying to figure out how to like subscribe, and I couldn't. So I Googled like, is there a stream of, you know, the Packers or whatever? So I'm not innocent. I've clicked on a few illegal streams in my days, but
Oh, sure. So have I. Yeah.
I'm really scared for the sport of arm wrestling. If you're dependent on things like pay-per-view, how many people don't care?
Well, and that's the thing. And maybe there's some value in us looking at different options, right? And making things available, but then doing it more as like a super chat thing or like a donation thing, or, you know, and not having to worry about having these mega events where you put $50,000 into the stage and the lights and the blah, blah, blah. Some people will always do that, and that will always be good, but maybe it doesn't have to be like that all the time. And maybe there's other opportunities where we can have different formats that allow us to do something for a lot cheaper and give it to want to support. They can, I mean, it's just like what we're doing right now, right? The people who want to support the channel, they have the opportunity to do that through super chats or Patreon or whatever it is. And some people have the opportunity and some people don't. And I don't know if that's better or worse, but it's certainly another option.
Can you read a few super chats? Speaking of,
no doubt. Cobra Rhodes also has a nice thing that he says. He says, Uncle John, I've been pulling 5 more years than you've been alive. That's kind of funny, don't you think? And you are the one that has brought me back to the sport. That's kind of crazy. I'm honored to be the guy that if I had something to do with encouraging Cobra to come back in, like that makes me as happy as anything in this whole world. So thank you, Cobra. 217 Brad Cook in the house. $4.99 super chat. He says, John, Gary, Troll, Army, the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Just stopped in real quick. Thank you, brother.
217 Brad Cook. Welcome. Can I be real with you for like just
always, brother.
Keeping it real. Let me just keep it real. I want to get back on the East-West thing, but this is like a real thing here. So I told you before, my wife is still looking skeptical to arm wrestling, and so I told him, like, hey man, I'm this is a business now. You know, ad revenue, trying to, you know, create content. And it's like, I love the sport, but at the same time, I'm trying to create a successful business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I've had people beat me up in the past. You're just trying to get rich off the arm wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like, hey man, I putting it all into this thing, and I'm in a fortunate situation, which I was in the past. Again, I've said this 6 times. In the past, I needed to pay rent. Right now, I'm able to. I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm building the business. You know what? What do you got to do when you build a business? You got to invest. You got to put. And I told my wife, I said, hey, the content, yes, I have 10 years of old content, but it's not all money makers. I'm like, if I'm going to film new stuff, I got to produce, got to get some content, and it's got to get the clicks, So born is the ROTN.
Yeah.
So now my YouTube ad revenue was about 12. It's been as low as 800, as high as 1600, somewhere on average, maybe around 12. So I was like, okay, my first event, I'll have 1,500 prize purse. So I'm giving away more than the average of what my channel's done in the last 6 months. But, you know, I didn't take into account for costs of anything.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, it costs money to host an event. But meanwhile, I was like, I was scared of who would show up. So I gave 30 entries free on the flyer. So I'm not even going to make any money off the thing.
Yeah.
Then the belts, I ordered 2 belts because I want to keep one for myself, collectible. So the belts, I paid the artists. I'm up to like 500 for the artists, 500 for the belts. And it's like, at the end of the day, it starts to add up. And where do you think I'm going with the point of all this?
I don't know. You're not getting rich?
Content.
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, that's the whole goal, is to get the content, right?
Right. but like we were talking about before with, you know, the legal streams, and it's like I'm in a real dilemma where it's like, hey, if I'm not on a ticking time clock here, but like my wife will say something like this: when our son has to go to like school, I want him to go to like a decent preschool, and like I'm hoping your business can pay for that. Like, okay, so he's 15 months. So when do they? I think she said like they will start to go to like two or whatever. I don't know when you send your kid to preschool, but it's like one day my wife's going to call me and be like, hey, you going to pay for that? And I literally might be in a situation where I can fund the ROTN or I can pay for my kid to go to school. It's like, minimum, if I want to give away $1,500 in prize money, like we were talking about with Jamie, I would need to do $3,000 if my wife's going to say, oh, I need you to kick down 1,200 for the private school that Bubs has got to go to or whatever. So it's like, the point is, I talked to you about this a little bit before, because this is my first event. You would not tell anyone you can't film.
I would say that that's an option.
Because here's the thing to the arm wrestling community. I need the clicks. If I'm going to keep doing this, I need clicks. I need that ad revenue to go up. And if like I was told this, 6 people, I think Joseph Drelak said there were 6 people filming Michigan states. Are you going to go watch all 6 channels footage?
No.
Probably not.
I'm going to watch the best stuff, right? The stuff that is
right. But sometimes the fastest gets watched first.
So some of the fastest will get watched first. So here's an example. Motivational Arm Wrestling channel. They put up
Dimitri.
So he put up a montage of all of Cobra's matches, right? Like the day after. And I'm like, this is perfect. So I messaged them and I'm like, can I use your stuff? I'm going to interview Cobra. We're going to go over the matches. They're like, cool. So I gave them a plug. I put the link in the description, all that stuff worked out perfectly. But I am probably going to wait. And then I watched a little bit of Chance Shaw's stuff, because Chance filmed like his own matches. And I'm a big fan of Chance Shaw. Chance Shaw is in the chat right now. Also, Chance Shaw is coming on Arm Wrestling After Dark tomorrow night. And Chance Shaw is doing things that I don't understand how he does. He's so freaking good right now.
But not only that, I seem like, dude, is he just on a permanent vacation? I feel like he's gone to everything.
Chance, well, I've talked to Chance about it, and Chance hasn't figured out. Chance, it's something that we'll probably talk about tomorrow night on Arm Wrestling After Dark with Uncle John and Chance Shaw.
So he has some secret recipe that
I don't know how secret it is, but he's kind of talked to me about, once you get to a certain level, a lot of times you can, figure out ways to, get yourself where you need to go and kind of offset the costs.
Yeah, because I just saw Paul Italia posted an Oklahoma tournament. Got my man Chance Shaw in that too. Like a dude done be everywhere.
Chance is, Chance Shaw is everywhere. And he's consistently winning wherever he goes.
Right, but he's new and he's also up in his social media game now.
Yes.
And
that will only help him. It will only help him. The more he can put that stuff out there, the better off he's going to be. And so that's another thing. Like a guy like Chance Shaw, who's already challenging elite level guys, and then he puts his social media presence on top of that, he's going to be getting the call. Is he
filming everything, or is he being selective?
I think he's just being selective. I could be wrong, but I think he's really focusing on his matches and all that stuff. So, yeah. And the beat goes on, says, obviously, but have you seen how he dresses? Yes, I have. I like it. I give it a thumbs up.
Is it like his lucky shirt, the one shirt?
I think he's got a whole bunch of them, whole bunch of different ones like that. He goes to like the crazy shirt outlet and just buys them all.
Okay, so Uncle John, me to you in the chat. Is it okay to have people show up and say, hey, you can film everything leading up to the finals and post that when you want? The
Mhm.
finals are mine for my show, and you got to wait 10 days after my show airs to air your show
How are
or
you going
to
to
air your
enforce?
footage.
Like,
What?
I don't know. It's just really hard to enforce any of it. I mean, you could just be like the hard line and say, look, if I find out that you break these rules, you will never film again at any of my events.
Well, that's sort of what I was going with. I was like, hey, this is a friendly handshake situation. I need the clicks.
Yeah.
I need this
Yeah.
channel to, like, I want to. I'm giving away $500 first place plus the belt plus a minimum $200 revenue from the next month's. Like, I want that to be a 10x within a few years. Like, these are lofty goals, and I'm scared. I don't know. While I'm building it, should I just have no rules? Post, share what you want, and it's like that gets the name out.
I mean, that's also a consideration, you know, for the first 3 or 5 events. Just have it be a free for all and really focus on, okay, you guys can put your stuff out, but when the actual ROTN show comes out, it's going to have the special edit. It's going to have all the extra interviews. It's going to be interspliced. It's going to be high grade. It's going to be high quality. And then people can start to realize, oh, that's the real deal. And then after that, you kind of limit it. You can limit it down and be like, look, here's the rules.
That's what we'll do. Because I don't want to get beat up.
Yeah.
I don't want to get beat. That's what we'll do. All right. Okay. Back. Todd Hutchings. He's arm wrestling Zoloev.
Yeah, Zoloev.
And is Todd like, where does he rank right now? Like, he's the,
wherever the hell he wants.
I mean, he's the man, right? Like,
he's the man.
If Devin Larratt was in existence, would we be talking about Todd Hutchings? Like, could Todd Hutchings have beat Michael Todd in Dubai?
Well, I mean, it's hard to root against Todd Hutchings against anybody, and this is a middleweight. This is a guy who should be pulling at 200 to 220 pounds, and he bulks up to 240, and he takes on the freaking giants, and he does so impressively, right? Like, this is an incredible human being, Todd Hutchings. He does things that humans are not supposed to do. So, you know, where is he right now? I don't know where he is right now, this very moment. But Todd Hutchings at his best is an absolutely incredible specimen of human quality.
So someone just said Todd Hutchings gave you mad props, Gary, in the interview just the other day. Here's the thing with Todd Hutchings. I love Todd, and we go way back. And I feel like he's the one guy I haven't called to like get on the show because I sort of like I'm waiting. I feel like I have a favor to ask Todd Hutchings. One day I'd like him to support my ROTN. And I'm like just waiting to make the call. So it's like that. Like, I love him. We're homies. I believe in him. I know he believes in me. I just haven't. I was supposed to go visit him like last year, and then something happened. But he's getting a call. We do have some catching up to do.
You should make the call now. Set some groundwork.
Yeah. Is he already in Dubai? I mean, in
I don't know. I know Herman is in Dubai. I know that Matt
is it Dubai?
Sorry, not
Where's
Dubai? Turkey.
Okay.
So Matt is in Turkey and Herman is in Turkey. Herman went live from Turkey. He got conned into buying some perfume on the streets in Turkey. He was showing off the perfume that somebody forced him to buy. That was pretty funny. So I don't know. I honestly don't know a lot about the inner workings. I don't get as revved up about East versus West stuff as I think a lot of people do. But I'm interested in all these matches. But let me be clear. Hutchings is amazing, but so is Zoloev, right? Like, Zoloev is also incredibly amazing. So this to me, that's the match. That's the match I really want to see, because we did see that match like 10 years ago and Hutchings won. But woof, I want to see it again. I'm really excited.
And the last time Ingen Terzi had his event, it was Derek Smith. He did the big live stream and went like gangbusters. What is the format that we're going to be able to watch all this stuff? Is it going to be later? It's going to be edited?
I think there's going to be a live stream from what I've heard.
Okay.
So I don't know what channel that's going to be on, if it's going to be on Ingen's channel or what. I'm not 100% sure.
And can you bet on this stuff like you did?
There are some that are available. Actually, Matthias is in the chat right now, the Steak Master. I can probably look up.
Why is Matthias the Steak Master?
Because he's like the arm bet dude. So staking right now, you can stake on Matt Mask and Gasparini, but Gasparini is sold out. You can stake on Hutchings versus Zoloev, but Hutchings is sold out. You can stake Bachman versus Drieva. Both of them are available. You can stake Katowski versus Simeonov, but Simeonov is currently unavailable. So this staking thing is going, man. It's big.
When I heard Devin Laird talking about it, he's like, "Oh, place your bets," and he's like, "Wait, you can't say bet, staking." And I was like, "What? Why can't you say bet? Why is it going to be stake?"
Well, because it's two different things. Because betting is like illegal most places, but staking is a way. I don't know if you want to call it a loophole or an alternative that they haven't cracked down on yet or whatever. I don't know enough about it. All I know is that instead of just making a bet, you're actually placing a stake in a competitor where that competitor gets a certain amount of the money. And if you win, you also are able to get a kickback. Now, the specific differences, I still don't 100% know, but it is not actually betting. And it's
so if I stake $100 on Todd Hutchings,
well,
I can lose the $100, correct? Like
correct. So if you so I could stake Matt Mask right now. And if I put $100 on Matt Mask, I would win. If Matt wins, I get $181.71. If I lose the $100.
And Matt Mask gets what out of that 100?
I do not know. And I don't think those numbers have been released or how that has come up with has been released. But I am very interested to be able to stake my match at Arm Wars Reality Check in October against David Bradford. Stake Uncle John. Get me all the stakes. I'm going to blow it away.
And have you looked up David Bradford? Is this guy a beast?
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Yeah?
I've got a cheat sheet of like, these are all of his starts. And so I write down where his elbow placement was, hand placement. Did he slip? Did he win or lose? Was there a foul? What move is he using? What move is used against him? Yeah, I know about David Bradford already.
Oh, not to completely change the subject, but was it you I was talking to, or was it Corey Miller that I was talking to, that back in the day when I was running ARMTV, it was a very big thing for people to study video and study their competitors like so much. And since I've been back this year, I don't feel like I've heard, I see people talk about watching videos, but I haven't heard the words, I have to study somebody. Is there less studying going on?
Well, I
feel like there's so much video, but actually less studying.
Well, we're in a different mode of arm wrestling and perception of arm wrestling. And a lot of that has to do with the way arm wrestling is shown, especially during COVID. Because a lot of people can't pull on a table. All they have is their home gym equipment. So what have we been doing? We've been talking about lifting and lifting heavy. So then all of the focus ends up going to lifting heavy and gym work and all that type of stuff. And these things I think will ebb and flow. But you're right. There hasn't been a lot of talk about video analysis. Now, I'm trying to bring that back with Corey Miller. We just started Arm Wrestling University last night.
Yes, we just segued. Segued. This is beautiful. That's how this is done. Oh, so, okay. I watched when Corey Miller was on your show, and listening to him start talking about how he analyzed the matches, I was like, oh, that really brought back some memories, because man, dudes used to study back in the day, and Corey was one of the guys. He was the guy you could depend on to explain to you, like by the frame, what people were doing. And I was like, I don't know if I'm just not in it enough talking to elite arm wrestlers, or like, is everyone just lifting heavy shit like you were talking about, that they don't know how to necessarily, like,
I think there are certainly people who do. I know, like, there's people who do it on YouTube. Like, so, you have to, like Ryan Bowen does, like, the breakdown, right? So he has a specific show where he didn't do that for a long time, but he's recently brought it back. The Table Monkeys do some of that stuff as well, but it's not as big as, lifting heavy.
Right. Okay, but you just meant, so Ryan Bowen excels. That's like a skill that he has.
Yeah.
If I take 20 elite arm wrestlers from random weight brackets, how many of them have that skill? Like, I don't know if does John Brzenk, he always just talks, well, I just, like, does he break down footage like a champ?
I don't know. But I don't know if John ever needed to. I know that a guy like Devin Larratt, like, I feel like the Ottawa High Hookers were really leading the way. And I'm sure there's people that have been watching video for a lot longer than this, but I feel like the Ottawa High Hookers with Devin and all those guys, they were kind of the ones that were like, look, I have got a match against this guy. I am going to study everything about this guy, and I am specifically going to train in a way that defeats what this guy is good at.
Oh, that's what stood out, what Corey said.
Yeah.
Corey said, most guys, so we're all getting the point here. I love, you created the show out of that show, right?
Yeah.
You and Corey,
it was out of that situation. Yeah.
Because I'm not able to catch all your stuff, but I was listening to that show, and I couldn't turn it off. I was like really intrigued by all this. And like when he said, so a guy, let's say I'm going up against Joe typically will probably just do the same thing. So I'll study his video and I'll discover a way around it. Like water will find a way. And he's like, and I will find it. And I was like, oh, that's so fascinating. And so you guys created this show where you're going to go through videos?
Yeah. So the idea of the show is kind of a multitude of things. One will just be kind of audience interaction, chat interaction, where you guys can ask questions to myself and Corey. Now, I am completely deferring to Corey. Corey is a master of a lot of different skills in arm wrestling. So he is definitely leading the charge in that. I'm more of the host position. Yeah. But what we're also doing is bringing amateur and novice level guys onto the show and going through their video and talking about, like last night, we had this guy, Ben Zapel, who I've been training a little bit. He's from Minnesota, and he went 2-0 both arms at his last tournament. So we took a look at all 4 of his losses, and Corey broke down, okay, here's where your arm angle is. Your head is looking down. We need to bring your head up, move your feet, get your feet spread apart. And like really, it's really, I think, going to be beneficial for newer people in the sport to figure out some of these basic ideas. Yeah, it's going to be really, really good.
I need a favor, and I need a rush order.
Do it. What is it?
Okay. Okay, this is perfect. I need a favor. Oh my gosh. So I'm editing. There's this tournament that I went to locally. Kyle Thunder Nelson did this amateur tournament, and I'm cutting it together right now, and I'm trying to get it up. But as you know, with my ROTN, June 19th, for anyone out there interested, we are doing the slip power lock strap. And one thing I've noticed is I'm really annoyed. The all slips, all straps, all the time. And I was like, some are blatant. We talked about this. Some are blatant slipping. And it's like, if you're obvious, I feel like it should be a foul.
Yeah, but define obvious.
That's my point. That's my point. So I'm putting together a 2 to 3 minute clip of examples where I need somebody to tell me whether this was intentional slip or a normal slip.
But what do you mean by intentional and normal slip?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Because,
I need you to have a show. I give you the 2 to 3 minute clip. You get Corey on the line and you analyze. These are all examples that went straight to straps.
yeah, so you can, if you give me the video by Monday, we'll do it on Monday.
Yeah. So I'll give it to you by Monday. Basically, I'm watching this video and I think some of those should be a foul and the restart, not a strap. And I need somebody to analyze the video and tell me if I'm
okay. So here's my question. When you say intentional foul, do you mean intentional foul as defined in the WAF rulebook, or do you mean intentional foul as we believe the arm wrestler intended to slip on purpose? Because those are two different things.
Yeah. Listen, bro. The ROTN, we're under my own set of umbrella rules, which is Gary Roberts is going to do whatever the F he wants. And I'm just trying to say, sometimes we're going to foul you because that shit was intentional. I didn't necessarily care about WAF rules.
Yeah.
I care about the guy. So I'm following this guy, Scott. He's awesome. He wants to be the next Devin Laird, a young kid, and he's got all the genetic potential in the world to succeed. And some of his matches on the go, he hit, bam, lost his wrist.
Yeah.
And he was like this, just fighting for survival, but he's clearly, the guy's just got his thumb, but he's not gripping. He's just like this. And he's just trying to keep from getting pinned, and he slips out like that. And it's like, did he let go? Like I need to know, is that an intentional slip that I could say intentional foul? You let go, we restart you, or is that a legitimate slip? Strap it up.
This is the problem we're going to run into. Now, I'm happy to talk about it with Corey, but from my perspective, it's not possible for us to make a judgment on if he intends to slip or not. That's why there's a rule outlining what an intentional slip is and is not. And according to WAF rules, anytime you slip and your hand is in a fist underneath the other guy's hand, that's an intentional slip. It doesn't matter.
Okay, fine. Use the WAF rules. Use the WAF rules. Because my point is, all these bitches went to strap, except for one. It was a slip and a loss in a losing position, which I 100% agree. The guy was just like, phew. Oh, you know what else? I'm going to give you that clip. And I would love for you guys to break it down for me. Put it on your channel. Doesn't need to be my channel. I just want to analyze this shit and be like, can I go out of 10 examples? Like, are they all slips, all straps, all the time, bar none? I feel like it's kind of,
I'm fine with giving fouls for intentional slips. It's just really hard to make the determination. And that's why we have gone closer and closer to all slips go to straps, because then there's no question, right? It just takes the referee's discretion out of it.
Can I tell you one more example?
Yeah.
It just blows me away. So these guys, they're arm wrestling. The guy, he's absorbing the dude's hand. He's on top.
Yeah.
And he's like this, and he's totally in control, but on the losing side of the table, and the other guy's hand is completely opened and underneath, and he just goes like this. And because they slipped like below the pin line, they called the dude who was on top a loss, even though he was completely in control.
Yes.
And I was like, what? He's totally has hand control. He's just on the wrong side of the table.
Yeah, but how do you lose an arm wrestling match? If any part of your wrist above this line, anything above this goes below the pin line, it doesn't matter if your hand is like this and it goes under, or if your hand is like this and it goes under. You lose either way. That's the general ruling. Now, whether you want to make that happen or not, that's up to you in your design. But, you know.
Okay, Bob Brown is going to come on in a few minutes to talk about this crazy post from Leonard Harkless.
Yeah.
So he should be on in just a few minutes, but I have one more thing to say on that subject. Here's what I'm doing in the ROTN. You tell me if it's nuts. I brought it up before. You said, I can't believe we're talking about this with Michael Todd and the Devin Larratt match. You're like, conversation for another day.
Yeah.
My refs will be instructed that on strap application, the athlete cannot touch the strap. The ref will not change position for the strap. Like the ref will try to wrap it right around the wrist at the same point, and that's it.
Yeah.
Arm wrestler can't touch. Arm wrestler can't touch it. And then the Velcro. Travis told me one of the problems with the Velcro is that we could not get it. You can't get it tight enough.
Yeah.
Well, in the ROTN, I will be enforcing the strap's whole purpose is to keep you just from slipping apart. This whole thing that it's got to be as tight as possible makes no sense to me. The ref will just a decent tightness, and then we're gripping up.
Hey, Chance Shaw wants to know, are you going to let them go high or low? Like, can the people say, I want it?
No.
Just applied where it's applied?
It's going to go the same. It's going to go at the same point every time, probably right around where the wrist joint meets. There should be no alterations. None.
Well, you know who wouldn't have a problem with any of this? Cobra Rhodes.
Hey, Uncle John.
Cobra flexing. So here's my thing. It boggles my mind that athletes can get this manipulated to the point where it's like it should be at the same point on both athletes, the same tightness, 1,000. Like, oh, we were talking about rules. You said you don't mind the rules being a bit funky as long as they're consistent.
Yes.
Gary, man, you funky. I am the strap. Throw that blue thing away. Wrap that thing on your neck like Chris Cornell. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, in my events, I mean, if 1 out of 30 matches the strap comes apart, we'll re-grip it up. But at no point, I'm telling you, for here on out, if my channel explodes and grows and one day I give away a ton of money, that is one rule that I'm never going to waver from. The ref will just determine a medium tightness. No one can manipulate it. No one can touch it. No one, nothing.
Can you define medium tightness?
Oh boy. Oh, Gary, go and slap your
okay. I will give you a perfect example. If I'm feeling blood, if I lose,
fuck your feelings.
No, listen, I just put this around my hand. If my hand begins to fall asleep and I lose a blood pressure, that's too tight.
Yeah, I think it's got to be snug. It's got to be snug. It should not be loose.
Yeah. So right now it's snug. I can barely get a finger under there, but my hand is not falling asleep. That's probably going to be the instructions I give my ref, and I will go to the grave, never wavering that. It's an absolute mission. And for anyone out there that says, Gary, give up your war with straps.
Well, there are some points out there. Chance Shaw made a point, and I do agree with him. He says, with a medium tightness, guys like myself will run the game, meaning top rollers. Hook pullers will have a disadvantage.
Uncle John, can I cut in for 1 hot second? Let me tell you something.
Wait, hold on. But in my event, you don't even get to the strap until you go through the power lock.
Sure. Yeah. So it's a totally different thing altogether. It's a totally different thing. And you just got to run it. Just choose how you want to run it and see how it goes. See how it goes.
Hey, if you build it, they will come. Listen, the segue that Uncle John hit. Chance Shaw, listen, I saw the kid this weekend. Met him this weekend. And I saw him at the table.
Yeah.
This guy, hey, listen, man. Listen, this guy, the future of our stuff. About, I don't know, a million years ago, I said, back up the last story you guys were on, who Todd is pulling, Zolev. I said 15 years ago, the future of the sport. The guy hasn't stopped dominating wherever he's been. This is going to be one of the most exciting hook matches we've ever seen. Zolev and Hutchins. And with this time that Zolev has to prepare, it's not like he's cutting weight to 80 kilos or 75 kilos. He's going to be coming in big and strong. Todd does have a longer lever, but this kid's power, he's the nephew of the Crush and Rush of Kazbek Zolev. And he's the son of Mabek Zolev, all from Vladislav Valania.
They got 87 titles or something. They got like just a million.
It's ridiculous. It's like a baby Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Hey,
per capita, they have more world titles. Go ahead, Gary. Sorry to jump.
Well, no, that's awesome. But I have a couple questions about Chance Shaw. But first, I would like to say, Chance Shaw, with no disrespect, and listen, Chance, no disrespect taken. I recognize I'm just dude running a YouTube channel, trying to experiment. If I'm wrong, I'll come on a show and talk about it. With no disrespect, Gary doesn't understand the strap game because he isn't really an arm wrestler. Tight strap is needed for a lot of reasons. Chance, you were in Waxahachie. The reason I had an issue with the strap is not because I want to take away the strap game. Is I was running time slots. I had 30 minutes per class. And as a producer, I didn't like that 10 out of the 20 minutes of my show was taken up with applying the strap on and off. 10 minutes. Man, that's a lot of TV time.
Gary, that Velcro is not going to change much of that time.
Well, that's why we added a power lock. I'm experimenting. I'm not saying
I'm just throwing in my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's just an experiment, but it's not because I want to eliminate strap pullers. I didn't like the ROTN concept, the king of the table. In order for this concept to work and do exactly what I want, the king, the ruler at the table, has to be beat. No time, no downtime. They win a match. The next puller has to be on that table, breathing to grip their hand. When the arm wrestlers are doing this,
lined up like we did it in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Line them up.
So that's my vision, and I'm being very singularly focused about it. And the strap, I have never complained about the strap for 10 years when I was covering the sport. But now that I'm doing the king of the table style, it does take up valuable time that just drives me nuts. That being said, I want to ask you guys about Chance Shaw. Where does he? So he's a heavyweight, or is it like 242 guy?
No, he's a heavyweight. Listen, the kid's 22 years old. What I saw at the table looked like about 15 years arm wrestling experience.
He hasn't been.
Don Underwood and Chris Chandler, convincingly. I mean,
very smooth, very in tune, listening to his body. His hand is solid, and he's really, really fluid at the table for a heavyweight.
I didn't see that. I can see that match.
Smooth operator.
He beat Chris Chandler also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It's on his channel.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll go look it up.
Look, I thought Chance Shaw for a long up until about, I don't know, 3-4 months ago, I was not sold on Chance Shaw. I am a 100% earlier adopter of Chance Shaw e-currency of any form and fashion. I am on the Shaw train at this point in time. Guaranteed.
I first heard of him from the mouth of the Sow when Travis was running his head, and you know, well, let me say Travis was talking, so I didn't like, I remember he said the name Chance though, so I'm like, Chance, man, I know a dude named Chance. And so like I didn't like this dude Chance for a minute, but and then I saw him on this internet stuff, and he's whooping some ass. And then I met him this weekend. Oh, this dude, he's smooth as X-Lax, buddy.
So I met Chance for the first time in Waxahachie, and because I was running around, I got a few sound bites from him, but man, my biggest sadness is that he didn't arm wrestle my event in Waxahachie.
You weren't sad about that. You're just saying you're sad about it now.
Oh, wait. No,
give me that, Gary.
He did arm wrestle left.
You weren't trying to meet the man. You was trying to get content. I met the man.
Nah, that day it was a little stressful. I didn't get the one-on-one talking to people like I normally get.
Normally, what have you ever done that's normal, dude?
Oh, I'll beat your ass. Okay, I'm watching Chris.
Get ass, baby.
I'm watching Chris.
You mute me.
Hold on, whoa. I'm watching the Chris Chandler match right now. Yeah, Chance looks thick. Yeah, he's a big dog.
Yeah,
he was a grown ass man, 22-year-old.
So where does he rank in the U.S. right now?
That doesn't matter. Everything in his mind is what matters. It doesn't matter what you put a rank in. What who's the boy you pulled with in Minnesota, Uncle John? The ratings boy.
Yeah, Chance Shaw.
Yeah, nobody. That boy, Chance Shaw. He ain't worried about what people think about that. He's here to beat everybody. That's his goal. He's a 22-year-old man that just did a layup line with Chris Chandler and Don Underwood. You know?
But to give you the answer that you want, Gary, Chance is top 10. Like number 10, according to Arm Fighter.
Yeah, is that the most legit ranking
system?
Well,
that's the one that is US only. And then Chance operates with a bunch of other guys. He does the In the Hook rankings, but that's all of North America. So I'm not sure 100% sure where he is on that one, but on Arm Fighter, he's at number 10. Right hand.
Is it possible to have a realistic, like legit ranking system when everything is all over the place, different organizations, YouTube channels, super matches?
Well, there's lots of different options. I mean, right now, the popular thing in North America is to have multiple people all putting their opinions on like the top 15 in, and then those are compiled and then averaged. But then if you go and you talk about like the IRPA ranking system, which is the PAL, Kirill, Igor thing, that's like a point system, which is a whole other ball of wax altogether.
Is Chance Shaw still in the chat?
I don't know.
Oh man, there's a perfect example. His first match, I think it's his first match. It's 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Their slip. Man, it's like when ready go and both arm wrestlers just let go. It's like, they're just letting go, right? Two arm wrestlers just.
It's called a professional slip.
I mean, can I eliminate that? Is there any way?
I can eliminate it.
Just get a bunch of Cobras.
I can eliminate it.
Okay, Bob Brown. Bob Brown's joining us.
Hey, Bob, what's up, bro?
Oh shit! There's a whole bunch
New
of old
Jersey's finest.
What? Hey,
What?
At least beard is as gray as yours.
No, man, don't make me, bro. Don't make me.
Okay, hey, Bob, hold on 1 second. I have some questions for Chance. I'm going to ask him to hold off till after we're done with Bob Brown. So I need to ask Chance if he can hang out
Gary,
for a bit.
I'll get off and let you and Bob and Chance hop on there. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks all you guys for supporting the channel. Smash that like button and subscribe to Uncle John's Arm Wrestling show right away.
Thanks, brother.
Okay. Uncle John, I'll see you soon.
Talk soon, buddy.
Peace.
Congratulations, Cobra, on arm wrestling. Thank you very much for giving us the show.
Man, it ain't about no show, old boy. You about to find out what's up. Watch me.
That's awesome.
Show this punk. I'm gonna get you, Gary.
Chance,
What's up, Gary?
can you hold on? I brought Bob Brown on to talk about a rule real quick. Mr. Bob Brown.
What's up, buddy?
So I'm going to share a screenshot. You saw the post that Leonard Harkless did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get Uncle John's soundbite. Uncle John, I called you today. Okay, hold on, Bob. Uncle John, I called you today and I said, hey, Leonard Harkless put this question out there. He said, hey, for anyone interested in knowing if this is legal or not, and he said it very like, I took it to, he's saying it with some attitude. Yes, like for those people who are against it, this is definitely a legal move. Suck it sort of situation.
Yeah.
And you said, Bob, what?
You're getting the exact same vibe from me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because arm wrestlers don't know how to read.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's what Leonard was doing, and here's what I've done in a few of my little videos. I'm just telling you what the rule is. I'm not saying whether it's a good rule or a bad rule or whether you like it or don't like it. And I get sick and tired, just like Leonard does, of arm wrestlers not knowing the rules.
Hallelujah.
If you want to have a discussion on what the rules should be or your opinion, well, that's fine. And we can all have that calm rule. But if you want to know what the rule actually is, well, then read the rules or just listen to the head WAF of the entire freaking world. I mean,
yeah.
What else? You know, it's crazy.
That's my point. That's my point. I'm in a world where WAF isn't my Jesus. I'm able to adapt and create.
Okay, but that's not what this discussion is about. You're just being one of these idiot arm wrestlers right now.
Yes, give it to me. Give it to me.
Do you want to have a conversation? Answer me this. Do you want to have a conversation about what the WAF rule actually is? Or do you want to have a conversation of what you would like to do with the rules?
No, see.
It's almost like I asked you this same question, Gary.
It's nuanced, Mr. Bob Brown.
No. Oh my God, Gary, this is where you always fucking piss me off.
Can I express my viewpoint?
No.
Oh, you gotta let me finish my thought.
No, because you haven't answered my question. Do you want to talk about what the rule actually is under the WAF rules? Yes or no?
Bob Brown.
Yes or no, or I'm hanging up the phone.
It's not about that, Bob.
Hang up the phone. Have a good night, Gary.
No,
Bye.
don't. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, Bob Brown.
What? Bob?
Oh,
are you
bless
serious?
his heart. Bless his heart.
Okay, listen. It's not about that. It's about when someone tries to tell you why the rule is jacked, and then you say, when you stick to the line, well, that's the rule. That's not what I'm talking about. When Leonard, I declare Leonard the best ref in the world. Okay. Yeah. When Leonard come on and he posts this and he says it with such like clearly clueless to the community's beliefs of why this is kind of wrong. And they're basically like, what are you going to do? I get what Bob is saying. I know that's the rule. But when you come on and talk to me like there's zero reasons to be annoyed by this rule, That's the discussion. How can you look at this? How can you look at this, that elbow being 4 inches off the pad? Well, literally, per that logic, if I were to drive my tricep completely up till my armpit is flush with the table as possible, is there at any point where you begin to see a clear violation?
Your shoulder can't drop below the table if you're in neutral or losing. So, yeah, there is another rule to kind of counteract that from happening.
Well, that's a problem too in WAF, because you can't technically get fouled for that in WAF because
you can only get warned over and over and over again.
You can get a caution over and over.
Yeah,
that's it. So that's another whole problem that causes major issues in this.
But it's back to Bob's question. Like, do you want to know what the rules are, or are you trying to change the rules?
That was not the conversation. The conversation is, I get it. Bob is very good at explaining the rules. I wanted to have a conversation about Leonard Harkless, like, not even having any sort of empathy for someone who thinks the rules.
Okay, so let me talk about that. Let me talk about that. Here's why. Because Leonard has been steeped in these rules, and he's been writing the rules and judging the rules forever, right? And I guarantee you, I've seen it over the last 10 years. He's been dealing with it for 40 years of goddamn arm wrestlers who love the sport so much, and they know so much about the sport, but they don't know a goddamn thing about what the rules actually are. And it's just probably made him extremely jaded about the whole thing. I'm jaded about the whole thing, and I don't even have to deal with it.
So somebody posted the example of this. Can you guys see that? The rule was intended for guys with big, beefy arms, like Chance Shaw. You got a big, beefy arm, I see. And when you come off over here, your elbow would come up. It's completely understandable why that rule would exist.
Sure.
But how can anyone explaining the rules not caveat with saying, I get why you'd be annoyed that there's at some point there's.
How often is that happening though? How often?
Not that often.
Not
that often at all.
It happens that often.
I see a lot of matches where the guy, let's say that the pad is here and the guy's coming over, and the elbow's coming up, and it's like.
But their elbow has to stay within that 7x7 pad still. So it's not that often where their tricep is making contact, their elbow's not, and they're within the 7x7 pad. Like, that's such a niche thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I have never had to make that call. I've reffed, a good amount of tournaments.
Arm Wrestling Derek, $4.99 super chat. He says, yes or no, Gary? Love you guys.
I can't believe we didn't even get a chance to. Bob didn't allow us any foreplay right there. I mean,
dude, you got to clip that. You got to clip that 5-minute segment. That was amazing.
I mean, I declare Bob Brown a very good friend, and for us to be so close, for him to give me 0.
Well, Bob's in the same boat. He's been making these arguments for a million years, and it's just the same shit over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I get what he's saying. The second part of the conversation is, yes, I would like to talk about it, because at my event, can I call that an elbow foul? And
you can do whatever you want. It's your event.
Yeah, it's your event.
By the way, speaking of which, what I was trying to explain when I was chatting with you is, even starting in a power hook, if a smart puller wants the strap, they'll still get the strap.
Exactly.
I don't think
Perfect.
it's gonna help with time as much as you think it will.
I'm not.
And I don't think that the Velcro strap's gonna help with time as much as you think it will either. And what I was also trying to say is, top rollers will have a huge advantage when you're just applying a medium tightness strap with a Velcro strap. Like, it's so easy for me to climb, and once I've climbed into your hand and I've tightened that strap with with all that pressure, a hooker will never have any chance to do anything.
Wait. It's so easy for you to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. With
in
a loose
set
strap
grip and a set grip.
Yeah, as soon as go happens, absolutely.
Okay, fine, but in the grip you can't climb. You got to.
I know, but you're doing a disservice to any inside pullers, because as soon as they face someone like me or Jordan Sill or any top roller, I'm going to take advantage of that just as any top roller would. I'm going to tighten that strap up, and the hooker will never be able to get any cup. So I'm just giving you another side.
Here's the arm wrestling Bible. For everything that I'm doing, will it make for interesting video? If I can check that box, then I really don't care. Like, will this be interesting? Will it potentially? I get what you're saying. I am 100% prepared. Oh, chat. I have no idea what hot chip I'm supposed to order. Put a link down, put an Amazon link so I can order some hot things, because we're now 2 weeks into different shows. I have yet to have a hot wing challenge, but just like the hot wing challenge, I recognize that I could be wrong. But the king of the table, you were at Waxahachie. When I watched the video, I've watched so much video. I am a professional. Here's what I guarantee you, maybe 1% of the people in our chat know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been doing videos for so long, and not just arm wrestling, that I can watch an interview. I know when it needs to be cut. I know when I'm losing my audience. I have a gut feeling when you send me a video. I know when it should be cut here. I know when it should be cut there. I know when it shouldn't be cut. I can I can feel the pulse of a video. And when I watch that Waxahachie, it comes to a dead stop every time we apply the strap.
I agree, but
the show comes to a dead stop. And what I'm trying to achieve is that is an annoying roadblock that I'm willing to mess with a little bit to experiment, because you guys, while I've been gone from the sport, you guys don't have 50 channels with millions of followers. You only have 1 or 2.
Sure. So
I'm going to experiment.
Something else that you could try, just throwing it out there, is you could train the refs at applying the strap faster. If you're taking away the high and low, I get that. It saves a little bit of time. If you don't allow the competitors to touch the straps, it saves time. But if you have a referee that's really proficient at putting the strap on, you can eliminate a lot more time than switching to Velcro, starting in a power hook, all these different things. Of course, still try it. It's your event. Do what you want. I'm just trying to explain to you, the negatives of having such a loose strap. So if you have a referee who can put on a strap in 10 seconds, it's not really losing that much of an audience compared to, like you said, in Waxahachie, it was 1/3 of the entire event. So
hey, Uncle John, Chance, I want to talk to you longer. I got to put down my kid for 5 minutes. Will you hang out so I can come right back to close up the show with you? Yeah. Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay.
All right. Chance Shaw,
Uncle
ladies and
John,
gentlemen, in the chat, 132 people. Don't worry, everybody, because Chance Shaw is joining me on Arm Wrestling After Dark tomorrow night on Uncle John's Arm Wrestling Show, 10 o'clock in the Atlantic, 8 Central, 6 in the Pacific.
9 Eastern, the one that matters.
9 Eastern for all you Floridians.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. You haven't sent me over the script yet.
I think we should watch. We should probably watch some of Michigan State's.
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I want to talk about specifically your matches with Chandler and your matches with Dawn.
Yeah.
Because those were very interesting for a lot of different reasons.
I'll tell you, I have never been so nervous in arm wrestling, ever, like in history. I don't know if you saw, but if you've ever watched me arm wrestle, I've never screamed or hit the table or done anything. But with my match with Chandler, I think it was, when I slipped, I walked over and I hit a table because there was all this pressure building up on me. I felt so much pressure to win. So it was super exciting.
Well, it was really good because out of all the guys I've seen you pull, the only one I've really ever pulled is Chris Chandler. I pulled Chris Chandler at the Arnold's in 2017 and had approximately 0% chance, 0% of anything happening. He dominated my hand. He's got like, I remember him having like a smaller hand, but it's just
small,
like
but
a
it's thick.
freaking vice. And yeah, it's so thick. It's so thick. So that was the one that impressed me the most. But then when the first match with Don, and Don at the end of it, he had a second elbow foul, and he was like, "Yeah, but you know you ain't going through that," and you're like, "But I didn't have to."
Yeah. Well, the first time he fouls, he's like, "Oh, I got exactly what I needed," and I'm like, "What, an elbow foul?" I'm like, "Okay, Don, whatever."
Like, I like Don a lot. I think Don he's a classic arm wrestler. He's great. He's had amazing matches. But that just broke me. That broke me when you said I didn't have to. Oh my God. Yeah. So tomorrow night we'll go and we'll talk about Michigan State's, but we're also going to talk about the big 4-man round robin that you got coming up.
Yeah.
Give us a preview of what's going on there.
So Mike Aiello and Don Underwood, we're going to have a super match in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Paul Italia's event. And after I beat Don in Michigan, he asked me if I'd be willing to hop in a 3-way round robin. So I talked to Paul about it, and I'm like, it might make more sense if we have a 4th man so no one gets the bye round.
Right.
And then I guess he hit up Jordan Sill, and Jordan Sill was keen. And so I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So it's going to be me, Jordan Sill, Mike, and Don. So the first round will be Mike and Don, and then me and Jordan. And then I don't know what's going to happen from there, but
that'll get jumbled around. So okay, so and when is that one?
July 10th.
July 10th. And when is your match against Chandler?
So that's the other thing. When I was in Michigan after the event, Chandler walked up to me and was like, "Hey, maybe we don't need to have that super match anymore."
Oh,
so we're probably not going to be pulling. Because that's the week before. Which, if Chris still wants it, I'd still be willing to do it. Yeah, I'm kind of used to pulling back-to-back weeks at this point, but I think Chris is going to get set up with Carl Stanley now instead.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting match too.
It is. I think Chris and Carl, that was Chris's first super match ever, so it'll kind of be a little piece of history.
Nice
rematch.
Really good. That'll be good.
And Carl can go left too, so it'll be nice.
Yeah. That'll be very interesting. So look forward to that tomorrow night, guys. We'll go over. We'll have the video queued up. I'll just take the video from your channel, Chance, and we'll kind of go through that. We'll talk about Michigan State's too, and just kind of the experience and the tournament, because it looked like it was pretty well attended and lots of.
Yeah, I think there was like 390 entries or something like that.
And I mean,
it was in an arena, the Kellogg Arena. Yeah. So, I mean, we had seating for a couple thousand people, bunch of tables. It was a really, really cool event.
Yeah. So we'll chat about that a little bit, and then we'll see what else. We'll see what else is up. Maybe I will get some footage of my Arm Wars opponent, and we can maybe start looking at that a little bit.
Who do you have?
So I've got a guy by the name of David Bradford. He's from the UK. He's like 210 pounds. Been in the sport for like 5-6 years, I think, and working his way up. He's just like me. He's a lot better left-handed than he is right-handed, or typically he has been. I've been going through a lot of his matches, but like he just had a super match not too long ago with Paul Maiden. You know Paul Maiden?
Yep.
He lost to Paul Maiden, but there was some
interesting
there.
Yeah.
So he's I think it'll be a good match, but I'm going to dedicate a lot of time, and I'm going to talk to a lot of people about the different ideas of what I need to do and to really train up, because I am 100% not going to go to Arm Wars and lose a match.
No, you can't.
Not happening.
You can't.
To me.
Man, everyone's getting invited but me. I need to talk to Neil.
Yeah, you got to talk to Neil, man. You got to put it up. It's going to be a good event, I think. I don't know.
Is that going to be the same event with Ryan and Coach Ray?
So I don't know what I know. I know of like 4 or 5 matches on the card, but I don't know what's been made public and not. but
Well, I think it was in
has a
Coach
match.
Ray's.
I just don't know who it's against.
Coach Ray was talking about it in his live. Him and Ryan were going to do an Arm Wars. This was like a week ago. I don't know if anything's changed since then.
Well, this is the one that will be at the beginning of October at the
Arnold's.
Arnold's, yeah,
Yeah, that's what was supposed to happen, but
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I think all those guys will be there. I think it's going to be like mega. There's going to be a lot of pullers there. A lot of stuff. So I will be on the low end of the pecking order as far as the overall eliteness goes. But man, I've never been so excited in my life.
that's awesome.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
We got Cole Casper on the show.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Cole?
Hey, before we get to you, Cole, I just have a real quick, Mr. Chance Shaw, just to close out. And I'm not sure I closed out the Bob Brown thing. I just sort of feel like the guys explaining that rule aren't saying, but I understand the rule's messed up and needs to be changed. It's just like they're so tuned out to the need to alter it. And even if it doesn't come up very often. So anyways, that's why I just wanted Bob to talk a little bit more of the nuances of, is there something wrong with the rule versus what he was asking me.
Yeah, I'm sure they understand something's wrong, but it's like, how do you determine when to make the call and when not to make the call? Like someone much smarter than me needs to come up with the alternative, because like you said, someone with big arms, they lean to the side, their elbow's off of the pad, but I mean, it's not really the same thing as their elbow coming off from rising. So
for me, I just don't see much of a difference. Someone's arm coming off 4 inches this way or 4 inches that way. It looks very similarly.
Sure. But what about this way? Right? Like this way?
No, that's what it was intended for.
Right. So, but like, how do you make the call? Like if I'm just posting and my elbow's up a little bit, or here, like what's the determining
factor? It's not here when it comes to the problem. It's when you start to go to the pin and you're coming off. It's
right.
Like
but so like, how do you
getting
write that?
leverage by coming up that far?
How do you write that in the rules?
I mean,
like,
it's
is it like a
discretion? You did like,
yeah, but ref's discretion leaves too much gray area.
Like 2 inches. Let's say that 2 inches is the window, not 4. Okay.
Sure.
Chance, I would just like to close out the ROTN. I just experimenting. I'm trying to streamline running events, cutting down the classes, one champion, that sort of thing. If I fail, I'll come on the show. We'll bring you back. But it's like, I'm just trying to create a simplified format to get cool content, to give away some money and expand. As a producer, I'm more focused on how do I get my brother-in-law to watch arm wrestling and say, holy shit, I'd watch that every week.
Well, it should be a quick event. I imagine Pablo is going to walk through everyone there pretty easily.
Oh my God, dude. Pablo is so strong.
Yeah.
So
well, we have invited somebody who perhaps could make it more interesting.
Oh.
I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
But we do. Who am I if I'm not a producer of content? When you tell me, well, it's going to be an easy show, no one's going to watch an easy show. I, as the content producer, say, well, I need it to not be easy for Pablo. So hopefully,
Man, you should have messaged me, Gary.
Chance. Oh, that's the other thing. I see you were like everywhere, and I was like, I did think about a one Chance Shaw, but I see her like at everything, and I was thinking maybe you've been so busy you wouldn't have time for my thing. So I was like,
I'm basically at a tournament every weekend, so I'm sure I can make it. What do you mean how?
You're like, you don't have gigs that need to keep you home? You can just travel the world?
Well, I mean, I'm home during the week. I usually fly out Friday night, fly home Sunday night. So I work Monday through Friday, and
so you're like living the arm wrestler's dream.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, Michigan State's I booked Thursday night. It cost me like $220 round trip for both me and my girlfriend's tickets.
What do you mean you booked Thursday night?
Like 2 days before the tournament.
You didn't know you were going till the last minute?
Yeah, because it was just like, I may as well go. I'm not doing it.
Have you heard Pablo before?
No, I haven't. What, Gary?
Are you flying out of Orlando?
Yeah, out of Orlando.
Yeah, so like everything is like mega cheap, right?
Yeah, out of Orlando or Sanford. Sanford's a smaller airport, but Allegiant flies out of there. So like Allegiant flies to Kansas City. So usually I can get a round trip to Kansas City for like $80. And then
what about
when you're
Chicago?
connected in the arm wrestling world, I mean, usually I can just be like, "Hey, whoever, can I stay on your couch tonight?" Yeah, no problem. And then they pick me up and I stay at their house, and I don't really pay for much.
And what took you so long to launch a YouTube channel?
I know I was slacking. To Chicago, I booked, I think my tickets were about $150 when I booked those originally.
Not bad.
Gary freeze.
Did he freeze, Gary? Oh man.
I think Gary froze.
Hopefully the whole stream doesn't go down.
Yeah, like it did for you yesterday.
Oh my god, that was terrible.
I didn't know how that made any sense.
It didn't make any sense because Zoom completely ended itself. And then I restarted Zoom while there was a black screen on YouTube, and then somehow managed to just reacquire the stream. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So,
the idea that you have, John, of like inviting amateurs and like having Corey like help them and give them advice and stuff, that actually helps like a lot of other pullers too, even if they're not the one that's directly on the show. Because I was thinking about that right before I joined on here, because I was on that last night, and there was a part where Corey was talking about the chicken wing with the elbow where you jump it to the front like right corner.
Yeah.
That way you catch them in a hook. Like 3 weeks ago at Wisconsin State, I pulled Josh Hanlon.
Yeah.
And I was able to, that's like exactly what I did. Because as soon as he said that, I went back and watched the video of me pulling Josh. That's how I was able to stop him, was when I got in, that I immediately put my elbow to the top corner and I was able to just catch him, and he went right into my like bicep power.
Right. So you were already doing that kind of unbeknownst to you.
Yeah. It was like an aha moment, you know?
But now that you have it, and then you can make that extra connection, and now you can start training it. Right?
Yeah, I had someone over for practice today, and I was like, we were practicing ready goes and stuff, and I let him hit into me, and I did that, and like that's how it works. Because like for the past year, I've been trying to like find my lane, I guess. Because sometimes when I hit, like it's really strong, sometimes it's not, but I pull inside a lot, and I always end up losing my hand when people post really hard and stuff. And that's exactly was kind of what was the missing piece, you know? So yeah, I just want to say that was like a really good idea that you had for like lives and stuff.
Yeah, I really like that show.
I wish I could take full credit, but really it was just through Corey. I just had Corey on for Arm Wrestling After Dark, and we talked about a lot of different things during the episode, and then he just kind of was like, we should do this. Gary Roberts is calling me right now.
Yeah, how did we lose him?
What's up?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll put you on speakerphone. What's going on, Gary?
I lost you. I lost everything.
Can you get back into the Zoom chat? We're still going. I just got made host.
Oh, stay host then. I'm trying to.
Yeah, come back in.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how this stuff works, but it does. But yeah, Corey was like, we should do a show where we just teach things, specifically because I think arm wrestling on YouTube has really gone, and a big part of this is my fault in some ways, is like, it's like, how heavy of shit can we lift? Right? Yeah. How heavy can we lift this?
Totally
how
your
often
fault,
can we lift this? Right? And that's kind of the bent that it was going on, and people don't pay enough attention to those finer details, or people just don't know how to look at an arm wrestling match and break things down and see different things.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just like happy that I can be a part of it, because every time I talk to Corey, I learn like 18 new things, you know, and this is me who I've been pulling for 10 years, and there's tons more stuff that I can still learn from him. So I think it's going to be good. Especially once it catches on and people understand what we're doing. It's going to be mega.
Yeah. And like, we're like, arm wrestlers are just meatheads at heart. Like, because no one really knows when first getting into arm wrestling, like how to train for it besides like do wrist curls. Because like when I was 10, I remember like, I thought arm wrestling training was doing those table curls. That's all I did. Yeah. I would get hyped up by watching that Devin Larrett curl the 200-pound dumbbell, and then I would go in my basement and do table curls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did that for a long time too. Just that kind of thing. And you know, and
I think that's one thing that arm wrestling is really lacking is we don't have enough how-to videos. Like all of us are putting out content, but none of it's like how to arm wrestle, like how to develop a top roll and all this. Like there's so much room for that. And I think
we don't have
we have
enough
a lot of opportunity
philosophers
for growth.
We don't have enough people that have the info putting it out there, because a lot of us, we just figured it out throughout time.
Yeah, I need to start putting out some info or something.
Yeah, you do, bro. You're one of the smart people.
Thank you.
I've specifically stayed away from that because I have like I'm a fairly decent arm wrestler, but I don't put myself in that category. I feel like I've figured out what I do fairly well.
Yeah, but compare yourself to an absolute beginner. You know a world of knowledge.
Yeah.
So
hey, can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see you.
You're back. Yeah, what's up?
Hold on. Are you telling me that my internet crashed and you guys were still online
the whole time?
I don't know how it makes sense.
I have no idea.
Dude, Zoom, that is really interesting to know that the Zoom thing kept alive even though I crashed. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. Zoom crashed on me last night and the whole thing went down. The YouTube stayed alive and it was like a black screen. And then I restarted Zoom, got everybody back in, and we restarted in the same live stream.
Wow. I had no idea that would happen. So,
yeah.
Who's Cole? Fill me in.
Okay. So I guess, I'm a 17-year-old puller. I started when I was 10.
What?
I know, right? So basically this was my intro to strength sports. I also am a bench only power lifter. I hold the junior USPA bench only national record at the moment.
Nice.
But basically I got into powerlifting because I was 10 and all the adults were beating me at arm wrestling tournaments, and I got really sick of it. So I started lifting weights, and basically arm wrestling has been my life for like
awesome.
7 years.
And what brought you on tonight? How did you happen to
I don't know. I've always wanted to talk to you because I feel like I have some info that could be helpful for people out there. Maybe not, but I don't know. I didn't have anything else to do, and I saw the show was on, and I'm always watching. Like my account, you've probably seen, it's called Tabletop Arm Wrestling.
Okay, and you mentioned Pablo. Are you local to where I'm at?
I think so. I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but I travel for practices pretty far. So I see Pablo at the practices near Illinois all the times.
Okay. So
he's always at the local tournament.
I'm an hour outside of Chicago. If Avi was trying to enter, I was trying to give Cole a few minutes before I brought somebody on new. If you want to enter, please return. Hey, thanks for being here, Cole. Chance, just to wrap up. So you went to Michigan State with 2 days notice? That's amazing. That's like
yeah.
And you do that often? You just need
no.
Oh,
no. Usually everything is super ahead of time, but the day of Michigan State's is when I was supposed to pull Ron. So I was just bummed out. I'm thinking, well, what should I do? I may as well just fly to Michigan State's. My girlfriend has family up in Michigan, so they can always pick us up and we can stay with them. And she always loves to go see them. So I'm like, yeah, perfect. I'll go.
I didn't mean Cole to jump off the show. Cole, you could have hung out.
Come back.
Yeah.
Were you saying to wrap up to me? Are you kicking me off? Do I need to?
No, I don't like leaving loose storylines, and I didn't know what topic you guys were on.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I kind of wanted to close my if you, Uncle John, were talking about cool shit, I didn't want to completely.
Yeah, typically I'm booked out for a couple months, but I had this weekend open because the plan fell through. So it's not usually the case that I book 2 days before an event.
That's awesome. And just when I say wrap up, I didn't really get I wanted to bust your balls longer on why you took so long to do a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking about it since I started, but A guy I train with, Alden. He's like, you need to make one. You need to make one. You need to make one. So I started making TikToks, and that started doing well. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll just do YouTube.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to reset my Wi-Fi router real quick.
Okay. I just didn't mean to.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Oh my God, is he freezing again?
Oh no.
Oh, come on, Gary. Gary, get your internet together,
That
brother.
is terrible.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Chainsaw, speaking of your TikTok, I think someone made a fake TikTok account with your name.
Really?
Man.
Yeah, I think there's one floating out there.
No way.
So just to let you know.
Do you know what it's called?
I could probably look for it, but
Because I am on TikTok.
yeah, I know you're on TikTok. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah,
I didn't know that there was a fake one of me.
yeah, I think there's so hey, I think there's a fake one of you that like.
Well, if you
have
see it,
videos.
tag me in it. So
I will.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not cool enough to have a fake profile yet. So,
Bro, I don't know. There's a lot of fake Devin Larrick accounts out there.
yeah, but that's Devin Larrett, right? So it's
Hey,
kind
man,
of expected.
if you're in the arm wrestling community, you know who Chance Shaw is at this point.
I appreciate that.
I agree. So Cole, what's your trajectory in your career as a 17-year-old? And you're already like, if you're beating Josh Handeland at this point in time, I've pulled Josh Handeland about 1,000 times. I started training with Josh. Oh my God, Gary Roberts.
What's going on? I literally. Do you remember that day I had my internet die and I asked you to be in charge?
Yeah, like all the time.
My internet has not worked since. I'm gonna call them tomorrow. Hey, do you mind? I don't want to keep going through that. Do you mind closing out the show
Yeah.
whenever you're done?
Well, I'll wrap it up. I don't have access to your like YouTube thing, but I'll end it from the Zoom if that works.
It'll just be a black screen though.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll end it later.
All right,
Well,
sounds
Thanks for being on. Tell Chance. I don't know if you can hear, but
Tell him-
Chance
tell him
he needs
now.
to keep coming back.
Say it again.
Tell Chance he needs to keep coming back on our show.
Yep. Got to keep coming back on the show. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Well, Gary is off of his channel at this point in time. So Cole, okay. So you're beating Josh Handeland. You're 17 years old. I've arm wrestled Josh Handeland a million times. I know that Josh Handeland is pretty strong. You must be on a pretty good trajectory. What's your plans in this crazy sport?
Well, I want to be like a legend by the time I'm old and stuff, you know, because that's kind of the whole point for everyone, right? That's why we all compete in sports. We're just trying to leave a legacy behind. But like upcoming, I want to try. I don't know if there ever was a junior world champ for IFA from the United States yet, but if there was, and I'm hoping to be the first one this upcoming September. Because
Kenny Hughes.
Was he? I believe it. Kenny Hughes was a
Kenny
monster
Hughes
back in the day.
He's the only one I can think of. I think he won worlds at 15.
Okay.
But he's the only.
Did at 15?
Yeah, he was incredible. But he was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be pulling the 154 class or the 70 kg. That's what I usually pull. So hopefully I'll be able to take first.
Nice.
Good luck.
So you're heading to Florida in
I'll see you there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Worlds is like 45 minutes from my house, so I'll definitely be there.
That's crazy because you're in Florida. Oh man, why can't I remember his name? There's someone. There's a puller that's in Florida now that you've pulled in practice with. I'm pretty sure. Devin Lee.
Yeah, Devin Lee Brown.
Yeah, he's from this area, bro.
Yeah.
I used to practice with him all the time.
Yeah, he has like the second or third best left at 200 pounds in Florida. He's super strong left.
Yeah, right.
Huge hand, super strong. Not that great at arm wrestling, but he doesn't have to be for how strong he is.
Yeah, but he just has like man strength. It's insane.
Yeah. There's a video of him and Devin Larrett training together, and he was giving Devin fits. Devin was tired, but
yeah,
still, that's impressive.
Yeah, still.
Right on. We got a $4.99 self super chat from Gary Roberts. Says, thanks for coming on, Cole. Glad to meet you. Come back anytime.
Yes.
Indeed.
So isn't Wisconsin State's the 26th of June?
No, it was early May. It usually is in June, but they rescheduled it this year.
Okay. I thought there was something up there the 26th.
24th, Kyle Thunder Nelson is putting on like a huge practice slash like super match kind of competition.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, I think that's what you, yeah, probably.
Oh yeah, because Wisconsin State's is where Chris Gellings had a super match with Tony Katowski, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which the fact that Chris Gellings beat Tony Katowski kind of makes me worried for this Saturday. Not that, I mean, Chris Gellings a beast, but Tony's facing one of the best in his weight class. So
Bolzar's bad dude.
Yeah.
Bad dude. What are your guys' picks? Look, can we run through picks on East versus West here? Let's start with Hutchings Zoloev.
I personally am not going to bet against Hutchins, but I think that's probably the closest match on the card. In my opinion, it could really go either way. Like Cobra was talking about, I think it was Cobra. Like Zoloev isn't having to cut anything; he's not having to drop any weight. He can come in as big as he wants. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I would bet on Todd Hutchins personally.
That's cool that you brought up the weight cutting thing because I think Zolev's gonna win because of that thing because I feel like it is so evenly matched that's the only variable is Todd cutting weight that's really gonna matter.
Yeah,
and I'm sure because Todd's cut weight a bunch of times, so I'm sure he like has like his whole ritual and everything, but still like it still takes something out of you.
What's the weight limit?
I'm not 100% sure.
No idea
if there is even a weight limit because like if the 250 Todd Hutchings shows up that pulled Jerry and Devin, and that would just pin Michael Todd in practice not too long ago. I think he's a really hard man to beat. But
do we know if they're weighing in?
Yeah, I'm not sure. If there's any sort of weight limit, even if it's like 220, I still think that Todd having to come down, Zoliev not having to worry about weight. I could see why you'd pick Zoliev, but I'm not going to bet against Hutchins.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, but I am going with Todd Hutchings. I think it's going to be a great match. I think it'll be wars, but I'll go with Todd. What else do we got? The one
Sarah
match,
Irina.
Yeah, Irina and Sarah.
Yeah.
I think I got to go with Sarah. I don't know as much about Irina Dreeva.
Irina is like underrated when it comes to women arm wrestling. She's up there with Sarah and Gabby and the Russian chick. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but that being said, like I pull with Sarah every now and again. Like she is so much stronger than she was a year ago, 2 years ago. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think it's going to be a clean sweep. I'm a little biased, but I think it's going to be a clean sweep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Of course, we've got Mr. Herman Stevens, everybody's favorite mustache, against Effie Comac.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really know much about Effie, but I looked him up. Like he's not elite, but he's, finishing kind of mid high pack at Worlds in his weight class. So that has a chance. And Herman really was talking a lot about not necessarily being at 100% as far as his health goes.
So I talked to Herman last night, like right after he finished his live. I don't know what time that was, but he was telling me he was feeling pretty strong.
Oh, nice.
So if this FA guy beats Herman, he's going to beat a pretty strong version of Herman. I would imagine Herman is feeling stronger now than he was at Waxahachie when he beat Wayne Withers. And of course, Wayne Withers is no slouch in the super heavies. I think he's top 15 in super heavies.
Yeah.
So if Herman is better now than he was then, I have to have Herman as the favorite. And his hit is hard to deal with. I don't know if you've ever pulled Herman.
I have not, no.
Yeah, he's strong, slow, static pressure, but his hit is the thing that makes him hard to deal with.
That's super cool that he was able to beat Wayne Withers.
Yeah.
Bro, oh my God. Wayne Withers was at Illinois State and he was sitting at the same table as me and my brother. And my older brother isn't like as into the arm wrestling scene. Like he watches and everything, but he doesn't know who everyone is. But he was pulling amateurs that day. And I, because he's my older brother and I had the opportunity to mess with him, I was like, hey, go ask that dude if he's pulling amateur. And my brother went up to Wayne Withers and he's like, are you pulling amateurs today? Because he would be in the same weight class. Dude, he looked like he didn't say anything. He was just like, no, but he looked like really like insulted. Like,
That's funny.
Oh man, that's brutal. Yeah, Wayne's awesome.
Yeah, one of my
He's a super
second
nice
tournament
guy.
ever, I met Wayne, and I thought he was like the best dude in the
Yeah.
world because I saw him just waxing everyone, and then he ended up smoking Josh Bishop in overalls. So Wayne's been kicking ass before I was in the sport, but he's picked up traction the last year or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the guys he picked up a lot of traction from was when he beat Matt Mask.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a while ago now.
November of 19, I think, right?
Yeah. So, of course, I think this is probably the biggest match on the card, which is the rematch of Matt Mask versus Hermes Gasparini, this time under WAF rules and table instead of WAL rules and table. I think this is another one that's tough to call. I am going with Canada on this one. I'm going with Matt Mask, but I mean, you can't deny Hermes looks like he's been training like a man possessed ever since he lost that last match to him.
Yeah,
He does. But I am also going with Canada on this one. I am biased to Matt. Like, Matt reached out to me when I was first starting in the sport. He gave me a lot of pointers, and I owe a lot of credit to him for my style. So I am biased, but I don't think that WAL, WAF rules are going to impact that match very much because it's not like Matt was not successful before WAL.
Right.
Matt was very successful before WAL, but WAL is where the money was in North America. So, of course, any top puller is going to be in WAL. So it's, in my mind, it's whoever gets the go. I don't imagine either one is going to stop the other. They're just stylistically, I don't see any wars happening. I think it's going to be very similar to what happened in WAL.
Yeah, and
Personally.
even if you watch Matt Mask like WAL matches, he doesn't like manipulate the setup. It doesn't seem like as much as other wall arm wrestlers.
No, he doesn't. I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though Hermes, because he has been training like crazy hard, I don't think he had enough time to get that much stronger.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you train, because that just it doesn't happen, sadly.
Hermes has been training super hard, but I don't remember the last time he's competed. Which there's a difference between training, even with a training partner, even with Ready Goes. There's a difference between training and competing. Especially with so many eyes on the match. That's a lot of pressure. Not that he hasn't been there before, but it's been a couple years. So, you know.
I mean, in the meantime, he did literally become the meme of the practice table king.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that tells you something. Aaron Yearsley with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Aaron. He says, I'll be there at Worlds, so it's going to be good. Well, my dilemma, to go back to Worlds briefly, I have my hotel booked for Worlds, but if I'm pulling at Arm Wars 2 weeks after that, I'm probably not going to Worlds.
Ah, come on, you gotta come.
I really want to, just even if I don't pull, just to be there, because I think it's gotta be massive, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Even if it's just the US and Canada, like, it's still gonna be monstrous. It's gonna be
it's gonna be the biggest tournament the US has had in a long time, I would imagine.
I might have to come.
I mean, you gotta show up, and maybe you pull, and if you get caught in any sort of battle, you just give the match away.
Yeah. Just give it that. Well, yeah, but then you got to tell your brain to do that, and then
you're not gonna be able to do that once you're in a war. You're like, I'm gonna win, bro.
I've done it. I mean,
what?
Arm Wars is a lot more important, right? But
that's
Worlds, you'll get to meet everyone, and there's a lot of content there for you. It'll be a lot of fun.
That's the thing. So I'm gonna try to do both. We'll see where it goes. The Stud Baker says, Uncle John, are you going to try to gain weight for your super match in Arm Wars? Well, the match is going to be somewhere between 200 and 210 pound weight limit. So if it's 210 pounds, I will weigh 210 pounds. If it's 200 pounds, I will weigh 200 pounds. Right now, I'm like 195-ish, somewhere in there, somewhere between 195 and 198, something like that.
Nice. So, I have almost 100 pounds on you now.
Well, I'm excited for once in my life. I can like just focus on gaining power and get bigger and not worry about being, out of shape. And I can go in and go in hard. So that's a new experience for me after 10 years of arm wrestling.
That's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. That's
Well,
it, right? Get closer.
so.
Get closer to the bottom line.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, so I guess there's a couple other matches on that card. Obviously, Katowski and Simeonov. That's probably the one I'm most. I like Tony a lot, but goddamn, Bozidar is just.
I really want Tony to win, but I don't think he's going to take a single match.
Oof. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Is Engen pulling with Archer still, or did that? That is happening. Okay, yeah. I'm interested in that match too.
Yeah, Engen won last time, right?
Arter won, I think.
Arter.
Yeah.
3-2.
3-2. It was they were battles. It was battles.
Do you remember what weight that was at?
Engen looked big.
Because I think Engen is even bigger now.
Yeah.
He's looking monstrous. And if there's anyone that can figure something out after a match happened, it's Engen.
Yeah. There's and potentially Engen's retirement match. Potentially.
Yeah. Well, if he wins, he has more incentive than if he loses, right?
That's true. That's true. So we shall see. But if anybody out there wants to support it, they do have the GoFundMe.
Is that still up?
That it is still up. I think it was like $10,750 or something like that. So apparently all that money is going to go into purses for the pullers, which I think is good. So if you're interested in doing that, you can do that. And then I can't remember what there's going to be a live stream, but I'm not 100% sure where, when, how.
So if I remember, it's going to be on Coach Ray's channel for all of the matches. Except for Matt and Ermies is going to be on Ermies' channel.
On Ermies' channel. All right.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. But,
that's so cool that arm wrestlers we're starting to get on the path to where people can make money in arm wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Like the staking thing, just getting money from people betting or staking on you.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
We as a community need to be more involved with social media. Like there's only a few of us that are starting to get into it. Of course you have like Alex and Devin and Michael that are really into it, but I mean every arm wrestler should have a YouTube channel posting their content. There's no reason not to. There's enough room on YouTube.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we'll all start making money.
That's the thing. The more at this point, the more the merrier. And for anybody out there that's interested, just be consistent. You don't have to do like a whole show. You don't have to do all this editing. Just get something out there and be consistent with it. Decide what you want to do. I want to do one video a week. Do one video a week. I decided to do 2 videos a week, and I have not missed 2 videos a week for the last year and 9 months, right? So that's the key to consistent growth, in my opinion.
I agree with you, 100%. Yeah.
Keep putting it out there. So I'll tell you what, boys, I'm pushing 3 hours on this business right now.
It's probably past my bedtime.
Yeah, right. You guys have any final words of wisdom for the chat here tonight?
No. Tomorrow night, arm wrestling after dark.
Chance will be joining me. So that's 10 o'clock Atlantic, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific.
Yes.
So join us. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. We'll dig into it, and we won't talk about straps.
Thank God.
How about that? No straps, no elbow infractions. And we'll go from there. So good to talk to you guys. Cole, nice to meet you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right, Matt.